And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm John. With me as always, Tyler.
Happy holidays.
It is almost Turkey Day.
It's basically there.
Yeah. Best holiday of all time. And it's not particularly close.
Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Put any other holiday up there, and I'll tell you why Thanksgiving's better.
No.
Exactly.
I'm with you.
Now, if you were to say Arbor Day...
Even Arbor Day, man.
I'd give you a fair shot, but...
Okay.
No, Arbor Day is not great. It's not bad, though, either.
It's nothing.
Do you think Arbor Day is better or worse than Earth Day? See, that's a difficult decision.
Better.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
It's very slept on. You know why? Because it's just a regular day.
Well, that's what I mean. It's not.
Exactly.
When I say it's nothing, it's just like you're not getting off on Arbor Day.
I'm not getting off on Arbor Day.
You might get off on Arbor Day. You should. Everyone should. But...
Well, you're also not getting off on Earth Day.
You could.
No.
Why?
Because it's not a recognized holiday. Have you ever worked for a company that gave you off on Earth Day?
Well, I was talking about it sexually, and you brought it back to the workforce.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're not synced yet.
Well, usually I'm the one who's depraved.
I know. That's why I thought
you're the one who's
meeting you.
Buttoned up.
Only on the podcast.
Only on the
My mind's always
we are
better.
on the podcast.
Right. We're recording. Work. You don't get off either days. I don't get off really anything.
I get 5 or 6 holidays off, but they give us a lot of
Black Friday
PTO.
I get Black Friday.
You get Black Friday off?
Well, I'm in marketing, so it's just
it makes sense.
we're so locked in by that point. They're just like, just take the
dialed
day off.
in.
Yeah, whatever.
Black Friday is your favorite holiday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's a holiday, but if it was,
is not.
it would be your favorite holiday. Yeah.
I love it.
But Thanksgiving, the best.
Yeah.
I love Thanksgiving.
It feels like it. Like it's literally, well, people listening to this, it's like it's this week. Like it's hard to believe that it's Thanksgiving already.
This year went well. I was talking about this to you before, where it's like at this stage in my life right now, years feel so quick, but so slow in the moment. It's hard to describe. I don't know if you even remotely understand what I'm talking about, but like I look up and like the year's gone already. But then I think back to everything I did this year, and it was like a lot of things. So
yeah,
it's
fair.
like, oh man, it's a weird dichotomy.
Yeah, I mean, I had a kid this year, so it's like it's such a weird.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing that happened.
One person does. I agree with that, because I think in April, so like when Penny was born, it felt like, oh my God, it's like you're crawling day to day.
Yeah.
And then at some point, it's like you just like fell over a hill, and then it's just like, oh, it's another month gone. Okay. I guess, it was wild.
Yeah.
Like, she's going to be 9 months.
I know. I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
I always tell you that like I come every week to the podcast, and seeing her progress is very strange.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I have it together. I did hold her today just for the record books. To show that.
Well, so
very poorly, by the way.
And this isn't going to play well for the podcast, but like Chelsea sent me a picture, because I guess she got like hey, this thing like 6 months ago or whatever.
Oh yeah, like your memories.
Yeah,
thing.
And it's just this really crazy thing where like when you go back and you look at like what she looked like showing John a picture.
Oh wow,
like that does not look like her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like you have this weird thing.
They're kind of like deformed looking a little bit when they're
like,
really young.
You think she's the cutest thing ever, but she's just getting cuter and cuter.
Yeah, her cuteness is spiking, dude.
But when you go back, it's like,
this is a stock you want to buy into right now.
Yeah.
It is peaking. Not peaking, it's just going to the moon. She's so cute.
Yeah.
Like I came in today, and then I just smiled at her, and then she just smiled back, and then do this thing where she like lifts her feet.
So she
jump or something.
She always wants to be in a bouncer.
Oh,
so
that's what it is.
She lays in the bouncer and bounces with her feet like that, and she just bounces. But if she's sitting up, you don't do that, but she still wants to.
Well, when I was holding her, she tried to propel herself like away. Like she like full back extension, like dolphin out of water.
Yeah.
Propulsion.
She's strong.
I am not letting you do that on my watch.
Well, I can't imagine Bennett doing that. Like, like he'd probably just break your leg.
Bennett's a big boy, dude.
Just knock it out.
I will never hold Bennett.
Yeah.
I think I did hold him.
Yeah.
But it's a risky.
Dude, he'll pile drive you.
He's gonna be a world's strongest man.
I think so.
I think so too, dude.
Ripping telephone books and stuff.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Either that or like linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And that's the thing is, it has to be the Steelers.
Oh,
he wouldn't be allowed in any other team.
He has to play for the Steelers, dude. Yeah. Or maybe the Texans, because John's from Texas.
Maybe.
I think he would allow that.
Sure.
But definitely not the Browns, Ravens, or who am I forgetting? Bengals.
Patriots.
Well, yeah, that too. But I was talking about the AFC North.
Yeah.
Football. Anyways, we have a podcast.
We do.
Video game podcast. So we're going to talk about video games today. We have a couple things on the docket. That's a legal term.
Yes.
And the first thing, I think it's some reviews. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Well,
we have two games to talk about.
You're talking about Astro Bot.
That's a game.
Starts with an A.
Yes, it does.
Feel like you should go first.
You're talking about
Dragon Age.
Dragon Age.
No, just Dragon Age.
No, it's not like a Knight's Tale.
The Veilguard. You can't. No. You can't talk about that. You cannot talk about Knight's Tale if you never saw Knight's Tale.
I've never seen it. I was supposed to though. I did drop the ball on that one.
You're missing out. Do that on your vacation.
I do really like Heath Ledger too.
It's so good.
Have you ever seen 10 Things I Hate About You?
Yes, of course.
I love that movie.
And 10 Things I Hate About You is very good.
It doesn't hold a candle.
I don't want to say that because I do like it.
Yeah.
But I think A Knight's Tale does such a good thing, especially with the music.
Yeah.
Is they have modern music.
Yes.
And I think we talked about this, but they have modern music.
Yes.
In A Knight's Tale.
Yes.
So like it's like they play like Queen during like a jousting thing.
Not really modern. But...
And people,
relative.
Not medieval,
Baroque.
Whatever. Yeah. So the thing is, when they were asked about that, they're like, well, we wanted to do something that evoked like, oh, back in those days, that was like quote unquote modern for them. So they wanted to do something that was edgy, but still bring it up to something that like people of modern day could understand. I think it works, but we'll see how it works for you.
I'm down. I'll do it.
Yeah, it's funny.
You just have to remind me.
Jarvis is in there.
Jarvis from
Iron
Man.
Iron Man, yeah.
Interesting.
Also known as Vision.
Yeah, I guess that's the same guy.
I also know it as Paul.
Whatever his name is.
I want to say not Bettany. Paul Bettany.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
I believe you.
I think that's it.
Sounds right.
He was on the Wimbledon.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Off track. Yeah. We are a video game podcast. Welcome, Blue Sky people. We're on Blue Sky now.
It's true.
If you're still here.
Here's the big
game stuff. Astro Bot.
We'll start with Astro Bot. Okay, so PlayStation 5 exclusive game came out in June.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Did it?
I think a little later than June, but around then, sure.
Yeah, it's been a couple months since it's come out because I waited a while to play it. Where do I even start with this game? I'm not prepared for this. You're much more prepared than me. But incredible game. As much as I didn't want it to be. So I'm a man of honor. Okay. I'm a big guy. So I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. So we had an argument previously in this year. Astro Bot is like 10 hours long or something, like 15 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, Tyler, that's way too short for a $70 video game. You need at least, whatever amount of hours. And then you're like, oh, it doesn't matter if it's good. And then we had this whole debate. Nobody ever agreed with me, by the way. So I played the game and totally worth it. Obviously it's a very good game.
How many hours did you put in?
Probably like 15 or so.
Okay.
Maybe less. I think I pretty much 100%ed it.
Did you platinum it or did you just
I did not platinum it, no.
Okay.
I'm not going to platinum it. But I did. I got all the bots, all the puzzle pieces, which I guess is how you get the last bot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got all the bots, 301 or whatever.
Nice.
And so it's a great game. And, man, where do I even start with this? It's funny enough because I was getting really into Spyro. I started watching like Spyro speedruns. So I was like getting really into platformers.
Yeah.
And this is like the first platformer that I can remember that invokes that nostalgic feeling of like, what I mean by that is like platformers in the golden age had zero story. Essentially, which this pretty much does too. Like it has zero dialogue, but it has some sort of story, which works. Just like Spyro.
Yeah.
It's like Nasty Nork, bad guy, dragons, crystal,
go save
him. Yeah. It's like, done. I love it. Like simple premise, great execution. And it's because of the design of the game. I think the level designs are incredible in this game. Each level is very unique for the most part. Distinct. I love the power-ups that you get in the levels as well. So there's like all these goofy gadgets that you kind of get that are, they feel good to use. They feel, what's the word I'm looking for? Like natural. Intuitive. Thank you. They feel very intuitive, right? And then you can use them for all sorts of different things like puzzles and platforming, obviously.
Combat,
like exactly. So, I think it was just such a intelligent way they designed the game. It was super fun. And it was like this thing where it didn't feel super short, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Where it's like, usually if something drags, it's like, oh, this is...
You're like ready for it to be over.
Exactly. It felt like the perfect length.
Yeah.
But even though it was like 10 hours or whatever, it was like, yeah, they said what they had to say. And I had a great time. It was very memorable. It's like, I think it's as lean and efficient as you can make a game.
Yeah.
It's just, there's no fluff in it. It's like, no, this is nearly perfect, honestly. I think a lot of it is as good as it gets. So I love that. The style of the game is great. All the bots are like super adorable with their expressions and stuff. And then obviously the tie-in to the PlayStation stuff, I think is genius, right? Great marketing. Like it makes me want to go out and get like a PlayStation Vision Pro or whatever. You know what I'm saying? When you get that power up, it's like, can I stop time if I get your VR equipment? So I had a great time with it. I love seeing the PlayStation characters as well. So like you go to a world and you're like, oh, I wonder who's going to be in this world. So like, for example, I go to the casino planet and I'm like, oh, I know Sly Cooper's going to be here. I know Persona is going to be here. You know what I mean? Persona 5. So it's things like that you get really excited for. As well as, you know, all the things on your home planet where you're like, you know, every PlayStation character gets their own like
little diorama
thing, that they have an interaction and stuff, and then you can customize your controller plane, and you can customize your guy. There's like costumes. There's just so much thought and love put into this game. It was such a great experience, and it's a great balance too of the difficulty felt just right. You know, not too hard, but like, you know, you have to try it in some circumstances, right? Some puzzles give you a little bit of a pause. But then you have these fucking challenges too for like the more hardcore people.
Yeah.
The button challenges, I guess. There's like X, square, triangle, and circle.
Yeah.
So there's 4 of them.
So let me ask you about that because I do feel like there is a massive skill spike there.
Yes, absolutely.
So how were you taken like off guard there? Did it fill you with dread whenever you would run into like the next shape?
I initially was shocked by the first one. I was like, oh my goodness, this is like difficult, right? And then every time I got it, I was like, not this again. And I even told you about like, you know, are we doing spoilers here? Am I allowed to spoil it?
I played it, so like you can.
I mean, you know what we talked about, right?
Yeah.
Where, you know, so. Yeah, I did. But it wasn't a bad dread, though. It was like a good dread because it felt great to complete those courses, which I know Jeff is elated to hear because I'm always the easy guy, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you feel really accomplished. You know, you've been working on something for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, banging your head against the wall, which is normally not how I like to do it. But I think the fact that you get back in it quickly, right? That's something we've talked about previously. It's very important with difficult things. It's about, can I try this again right away, right?
Yeah.
Can I jump right back into it? And then you just see yourself getting better, right? In a quick succession.
It's kind of a weird like speed run type thing too, where when you start the level, you're just kind of like off sprinting and you know exactly like the timing and stuff. And to the extent where if you hesitate at the start of the level and then you go, everything feels off because it's like, oh, I'm behind on this, I'm behind on that. And so like you kind of get a sense for like, oh, for speedrunners and stuff, it's like, nope, you got to just book it. Yeah, there's
a flow state you get into that feels great. And it's like, it's like speed running light. Obviously we're not at that level, but you get a little taste of like this zone that they get into, which feels incredible.
But also nothing feels worse than seeing the finish line and getting killed right beforehand. And you're just like, all right.
Yeah, I did that multiple times and I was furious.
So did you power through every single one, or did you back away?
No, I did them first. I said,
no, I know that, but what I'm saying is, so for instance, the very last one,
yes,
I was stuck. And I think we were doing like D&D that night or something like that. And I'm like, all right, I just need to like step away from it, step away, take a break, whatever.
Yep.
And I remember we did the D&D, and then I was up early the next day, and I'm like, okay, it's like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm going to knock this out before work.
Yeah.
And like, sure enough, it was it took me like 10 minutes, and I was like, done. And then just moved on. It was
sometimes
perfect.
The stepping away, getting a fresh mindset, definitely what you need. I did not have to do that. I powered through all of them. Yeah, they weren't even too bad, honestly. Like 20, 30 minutes maybe. Yeah. Maybe the longest one was like 40 minutes if I really struggled. But
for a
challenge,
2-minute level or a 60
so
second level, like
it is a lot of tries, but it's not like Dark Souls or anything where you're like stuck on it for a week or something, right? Mm-hmm. It's a very good balance. So I also love I know that you were saying that the last mission was kind of disappointing. I loved it because I loved the aesthetic of it. It was very Final Fantasy 16, whereas like that gameplay was like whatever.
Yeah.
It was just like a scroller Star Fox, whatever.
Sure.
But the aesthetic of it was great. The nostalgia of it was great. Huge production value. Great. Like the credits were amazing too. Like such a fun, exciting thing. I just dug it. I just think they really nailed the soul of the game. Like this game has a lot of soul.
I didn't have an issue with it per se. I think the biggest thing for me was you're just jamming on that shoulder button for the entire time as your controller's vibrating. And I have a broken controller.
Oh,
so when you're doing that for like
3
minutes just straight, and it's just like, and you're holding your sleeping baby trying not to wake her, that's where I was like, man, this level sucks.
You were saying that. You were asking me about like the vibrations. Were they too much? Mine were fine. They were perfect. Like I noticed it, but it was like totally fine.
Were you wearing headphones during it?
Yeah.
That's probably why. So I was doing it through TV where like I was literally hearing my controller. It sounded like my controller was breaking. Yeah.
Yeah. But all in all, great. I think the best levels were the PlayStation exclusive ones.
Yeah. Like the main character ones and stuff.
Yeah. I really liked God of War. It's probably my favorite level. I really liked Uncharted as well.
Yep.
Horizon was pretty good too, but there were some really memorable, other levels too. I would love to do a top 5 Astro Bot levels.
Yeah.
And a top 5 Spyro levels, which we talked about too. But
I
love the casino level. That one sticks out to me. Yep. There's a lot of great ones. I'd have to go back and like kind of look through the catalog, but
so You said you played with headphones. A lot of the sound comes through the controller. Did you just kind of miss out on that, or is it like?
I think I subliminally got that. I didn't actively notice it, but I love the sound design of the game, and I think that effect came through kind of secondhand, if that makes sense. So
yeah, it is wild just to like every like type of material you walk on and stuff. Like you have the sound coming through, you have the vibration patterns coming through, and you can tell if you're on sand or metal and stuff. It's so well done.
I will say too, the game looks incredible.
Runs flawlessly.
And it runs flawlessly, but I have to say this, crashed on me.
Did it?
It crashed on me. Yes. During one of the spooky levels.
Interesting.
And I was fighting a boss, one of those ghost boss.
Yeah.
And it crashed, and I had to do the whole level again. I was not happy. So
okay.
I know you said it was flawless, but that is what happened. Like I'm trying to think if there was another PlayStation 5 game that's crashed on me. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had PlayStation crash.
Right.
Knock on
and
wood.
To have Astro Bot be the first one was very surprising.
Technically, Diablo has crashed, but that's more of a Diablo servers thing than anything.
No, this was like I don't know exactly what caused it, but so that I do have to mention that. But yeah, I think.
So talk about music. I know we're trying to hit all the different categories. So music, like how did you feel? I know I was excited for you to like, hey, when they're blending
Yes.
The theme of God of War, the theme of Uncharted with the spirit of Astro Bot.
Yes.
How do you feel?
Music, incredible, great atmospheric, great stylistic choices, I should say. I think that's more apt, where exactly like you're saying, they did an amazing job of blending the styles together of your God of Wars, of your Horizons or Ape Escape, which I've never played, into the Astro Bot feel, that lighthearted, kind of more cartoonish feel, which is incredibly difficult when you have such a serious game like God of War, right? To blend those two. And I think they did an excellent job of that. In terms of the sound design too, I mean, some things like the level where you get really small and it changed the whole dynamic of the sound and the soundtrack. That is beautifully done. I love little details like that where what you're doing in the game affects the sound and things like that. So we also talked, which you described before, like kind of when you go underground, you get that theme, which I think I'm in agreement with you that was my favorite theme in the game. It's very, very cool.
It was the one that stuck out to me, where like I actually stopped what I was doing and I was like, dude, I am like just jamming with this thing. Yeah.
I think you have to be playing it because I remember you showing me it and I thought it was a cool groove, but when you're in the game, the atmosphere, it just clicks really well.
It has kind of the like the echo, like you're in a cavern, so
the sound design in this game is immaculate, which we might get to later. But it's a soundtrack that I don't think you would listen to on its own per se, but in conjunction with playing the game, excellent.
Yeah, it's tough too because it's a lot of, especially with games, a lot of those soundtracks are meant to be like either looped or just like, oh, this is this is going to take you for the next 30 minutes while you go through this level or whatever. So like it's
a difficult balance to strike. Yeah, but there definitely are video game soundtracks that you can listen to as an album, right? So I commend games that definitely do that, where it works in both senses, right? But okay, so Astro Bot, do you have any other questions? I think I covered everything.
No, I think that's good. Yeah, did you do any of like the little hidden like interactions with like once you rescue the bots and they're kind of at your like home base and stuff?
Yeah.
A lot of like the trophies are tied to like interacting with them or doing weird things with them and stuff.
Once they get their dioramas or whatever.
Yeah, so like one of them's like you have to like punch Ryu in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And because if you or like you tap him, and like he'll attack Ken and vice versa.
Yeah.
And I forget what it is, but like you basically have to like activate them to do their like little like animation.
At the same time?
Stop. Well, no, you go in front of them, so he actually knocks you out instead of Ken.
Oh wow!
So it's like dumb stuff like that, or you like make like you hit Kratos, and he'll like try to like throw his axe at you.
Yeah.
But then you just run behind Thor, and he actually hits Thor instead, and stuff like that. Like it's funny stuff
that
like
is
that.
Funny.
Yeah,
I like that.
But
no, I didn't do those little.
Yeah, it's
extra things. Did you have to look those up, or did you just discover that on your own?
No, so the only one I had to look up was you have to like take a picture of all archaeologists together. So you have like Nathan Drake, and you have like Tomb Raider, like Lara Croft, like running across the screen and stuff like that. So it's like I knew what I had to do.
Yeah.
But like I kept taking screenshots. Like I did like 100 screenshots. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
And then I looked that up where it's like, oh, well, you actually have to wait here and wait for like her to be like chased by like a dinosaur across your screen or some dumb stuff. Yeah. But it is kind of wild to like once you get all 300 bots. And you unlock like the like last like quote unquote secret level, and they basically just stack all the way up out of the planet
into heaven. Yeah.
It's pretty cool because then you actually see every single one you rescued.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. So question is, where does that go?
Can you bring up our game ratings here? I want to see our scale again. I just want to make sure I'm consistent with what we're doing.
Let me bring up.
This might shock the audience. I might get some gasps.
All right, hold on.
I might get some feints.
Here we go. Boom. There we go.
All right. Here we go. Okay, perfect.
So you want to read this?
Can you go to last year's as well? I'm just so for the audience, I'm looking at our previous scores. I just want to make sure I'm consistent.
Oh no.
Okay, go to 2024 again, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. This game's incredible. I think this is just, and maybe it's the Spyro nostalgia that's blinding me too, right? Because I've really been into Spyro really recently due to, I didn't even know what it was. For some reason, the algorithm has been pushing Spyro on me, and then I started really getting into like the Spyro speedruns.
Yeah,
which the new world record was just set like a couple days ago on Spyro 1. 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 30 some seconds.
With like glitches and stuff, or just just bare minimum?
To 120% the game. Every gem, every dragon. Yes.
What?
1 hour, 20 minutes.
That's insane.
How crazy is that, dude?
I will waste an hour and 20 minutes of my life
watching.
You
should watch it.
Yeah.
He has a commentary on it too. Very, very good. He kind of talks through the tricks. And the thing about sorry, I'm totally getting off track.
Yep, nope.
The cool thing about Spyro 1 speedrun is that in the subsequent games, there is more of the glitching and out of bounds and stuff, which is cool too. Like for Spyro 2, for example, you get to the end of the game as fast as possible, and then you get the secret infinite super flame.
Right.
And then beat the game like kind of backwards.
Yeah.
But in Spyro 1, you can't do that because the balloonists like stop you. Like there's no way to get around them. So you kind of have to play the game legit. And there's some, some out of balances, some secret tricks that they do, but like it's pretty legit for the most part. And they're playing the game like front to back.
That's how you have a good game where you're just like, no, we locked it all down.
Yeah. Like Spyro 1, so solid.
Yeah.
And it's a fun speed run to watch, especially if you're into it. But I digress. Astro Bot is just really hitting me in those notes of like peak platformer.
Yeah.
Just unique levels, great gameplay, super fun, creative, stylistic, great style, great music, very memorable areas, Easter eggs, I love taking the pictures. Like most of the maps have like the little pictures and
like a little wooden cart cut out that you get. Actually, like there's like an animation that comes with it.
Yeah, like dolphins will jump in the background, or like
all the cats,
volcanoes, or all the cats will jump on you. It's just little things like that. I think they just nailed every aspect of the game, and it's really hard for me to find any faults with it.
Okay,
I think it encapsulates everything that's great about video games in such a efficient, succinct package.
Yeah,
it's like, especially at this stage in my life where it's like it's hard to like have your personas where you have 80 hours to put into a game, right?
Sure.
So to have a game that's this fun, 10 hours, just super memorable, super awesome, it's understated. And I was wrong about it. Like, games can be that good and that short.
I applaud you for
now I do. I will say that it is it's on a, there's a balance, right? Like the shorter it is, the better it has to be, right?
Yes.
But it's possible. You could have a 4-hour game. That's amazing. But it has to be a insane 4 hour, like 100% at every single minute of that 4 hours, Okay.
Which to my knowledge, I don't think that exists right now. Like, I don't know of a $70 game that's only 4 hours.
That's what I'm saying.
You're getting the indie games. You're getting, even Journey wasn't. I think Journey was maybe 40 at most. But
that was my argument, right? Where it's like, at some point comes, like, if you go to the extreme, there's no 1 second game that's going to be worth $70, right? That's impossible.
Unless that, I don't get crude, but
exactly, right.
Yeah.
So there's a balance, but I think this hits it. This is a tough one.
You are really
I'm
building this up.
I'm milking this.
So we're looking at, we have a TV up right now.
Yes.
And we're looking at all
Build
of
it up
our,
more. Build it up more.
We're looking at all of our stuff.
Yes.
Currently, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah.
Which is a game that you played. You gave it a 96,
did.
Which broke into our platinum rating.
Yes.
Very high score. The only other platinum we've given so far is to Baldur's Gate 3.
Which is a 97.
Yeah.
I'm giving Astro Bot a 97.
97.
A 97. I can't find fault with it.
Yeah.
It's just everything you want in a game. Like, for that kind of game, nearly perfect.
All right, let me scroll down here,
right?
Because I think you and I both.
I kind of trapped
96.
I kind of trapped myself too, because I gave Final Fantasy a 96. If I'm being honest with myself, Astro Bot's a better game than Final Fantasy Rebirth. Even though I love Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to death, and I think it is an incredible game. It's not like I just, have rose tinted glasses or whatever, which I don't know, maybe I do, but I think the execution is just a little bit better from Astro Bot. I
There's
can't find fault with
tightness.
it.
Yeah.
In Rebirth, there's some loosey-goosey stuff
You got
going
some
on.
filler. Yeah.
But the heights of Final Fantasy, I think, surpass Astro Bot, and that's why it's very neck and neck.
Yeah. Final Fantasy. Well, so the other thing too is like you are a big story character,
exactly,
things like that.
Exactly.
That does not exist in Astro Bot. Now, Astro Bot is
that
very
speaks to
cute.
how well it does its gameplay, how well it does its style, how well it does. And I think a big part of it too is there's no characters, but there are characters because it's like remember your favorite characters.
Yeah, they're all here.
They're all here, and the nostalgia hit. I think they just handled it very well.
Yep. I mean, and it does kind of help too, where like you pan the camera, and whenever the camera is looking directly at Astro Bot, he just like waves at you.
Yeah, it's the
stuff.
little
just,
animation. It's the It's the little details they nailed exactly.
For the completionist like me, I think the biggest thing was you can restart any level.
Yep.
And you can just get the little like you basically pay. It's like 100 coins.
Yep.
But you get a little bird. And the bird just kind of, it's like a little radar thing. And it just says, hey, there's a secret around here.
Yep.
So if you want to go through and you want to do it without like just looking up a guide and like go here, whatever, you can still, you get that little bit of a hint and that little bit of a help, but it still kind of lets you go explore and do the thing, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a genius addition to the game.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you for bringing that up because I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. If you think like a guide's cheating or whatever, it's like, this is a beautiful middle ground, right?
It's in the game. It's not,
in the game.
It's not cheating.
Yep.
97. That's awesome. So I gave it a 96 because I was
because you hate the game, right?
Yeah. So that does put it in our platinum tier.
I mean, would you put it on the same? I would put it on the same level as the Baldur's Gate 3. I think what this does for a platformer, Baldur's Gate 3 did for RPGs, right?
So I went back and I played Super Mario World 3D, and I could not play it. Like it felt sluggish. It felt imprecise.
Yeah.
Where Astro Bot, like it typically, and it's so weird because like Astro Bot clearly pulls a lot from Mario.
Of course.
It's just the feel of it and the tightness of the jumping and everything is it just very rarely do I feel like imprecise or inaccurate. And like the thing with 3D platformers a lot of the time is whenever you're jumping, you're always looking for like a tiny little shadow, right? You're always like, oh no, am I going to land on this thing? And Astro Bot just does such a great job where like you do the little hover, you have your little water jet things, which to be fair, Mario Sunshine had, but it just gives you that little extra connection with your brain and hands to like land every jump and it's very very
also
well done.
I'd like to point this out too. Maybe the best ice skating in any game
I've
ever played. It feels better than NHL.
It feels
which
good,
is crazy.
but it literally
like
feels
it has
good.
that little bit of like I don't even know how to describe like weight to it.
It has
that drag, a little drag weight, when you turn. You know,
it's the vibration. It's the vibration. And then if you're listening through your controller speaker, because I think controller speaker super gimmicky, but somehow this game works really well with it. So as you're skating around and you hear just like your skate grinding on the ice,
it's the best PlayStation 5 advertisement you will ever have in your entire life.
Yeah.
At the end of the life cycle of PlayStation 5.
Yeah. It is such a high bar that like the inevitable Astro Bot 2, I'm like worried, preemptively worried for it because it's like, dude, how do you do that?
You can't.
I mean,
maybe you can.
More of the same is not going to cut it. That's the other issue.
If it was the exact same experience, it would be a lesser game. It would be a good game. Yep. It'd be just lesser.
You're going to have to get completely new power-ups. You're going to have to do a lot of stuff with it. Yeah. But awesome. Okay, so Astro Bot is currently the highest rated game this year by a point, but that's awesome.
It was a long process, but I think it deserves it. If I'm being honest with myself, I think it deserves it a little. As much as I love Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Rebirth.
Yeah.
It's a great game. I still think it's a great game.
Yes.
But this game is special, and I think it deserves that place. And I also trapped myself because I put Final Fantasy so high.
Well, hey, whatever.
I think it's there. I think you can make the argument that it is on par with a Baldur's Gate 3. I don't think that's an insane claim.
For Astro Bot?
Yes.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
I think so. I don't think that's crazy. From a genre perspective, exactly.
Yeah.
What it does for the genre. So, all right, that was long. How long did I go there? Are we
half
super
hour?
long? Okay.
Yeah, we're okay. We're good.
You go ahead.
All right.
That was long. I milked that one quite a bit, so apologies, but I I had a lot to say about it.
All good. So I'm going to talk about Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and it's one of those things like here's a spoiler, not a 97, but
okay.
For kind of a bit of a background, I am not a Dragon Age fan. From Origins to Awakening to Inquisition, like all of them. I kept bouncing off of it. I never connected with it. I did not enjoy it. So with this one, I was a little worried because it's like, okay, like when you're coming in, how much of the lore are you missing? How much of like the impact there are you going to miss out on? But the thing that made me want to play it was watching the trailers and watching how the combat is, which feels a lot more like a Mass Effect, where you are a singular character. You're not worried about like controlling all these other guys and swapping between them, and you have to like build out all these other kits and different things like that. It's literally like it's you, and then your companions are just essentially like more moves you can do, or they can like prep stuff. So like if you have a mage put like weakness on somebody, then if you do a move that detonates weakness, you get some extra damage and stuff. And we'll get to the combat, but like I thought it looked like a pretty good system. Luckily, this game gripped me in such a way that I was not ready for. OpenCritic has it as an 81 right now, so I want to set the thing there. I don't. We'll be going over the Game Award nominees. I don't think Dragon Age was nominated for a single thing. I could be wrong there, but I did not see it. So we'll keep our eyes open whenever we go through those.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so we have this broken down. I have, we'll start with gameplay because that's my favorite thing. I have some positives. I have some things that are like, I broke it down where I've definitely pros. I definitely have cons. And I have some things in the middle that I'm like, hey, here's something that like kind of a con, but like I overlooked, or you can kind of like smooth it out a little bit. And it's kind of like your mileage may vary. So we'll get there. But so I did talk about combat. Combat is extremely dynamic in that everything you do in combat can be customized to your playstyle, which is really cool. Now, everything being said, I played a warrior. I feel like this game is very much asking you to be up close and personal and melee and things like that. So if you're playing like a mage, I was going back and reading like other people's reviews and stuff, and people were picking mages and saying like, "Oh, this combat was terrible. It was super annoying. It like you felt too squishy. It wasn't clicking." I can't speak to that because I picked a warrior, but I can tell you if you play this game and you pick a warrior, you're gonna have a pretty good time. You basically have a sword and shield, and you have a two-handed weapon that you can basically just swap at will. It's a quick button press. You flip out the other one, and you're good. So the sword and shield, you can swing your sword really quickly and do like faster combos. Your shield, obviously, you can block and stuff, but you can also throw it like Captain America. And it's not just you throw it once, it comes back to you. It's you throw it, and then you just keep hitting the button, and you can basically just keep pinballing off of people up to like 3, 4, 5 times, depending on like your kit. But the cool thing with it is if you really want to build a character that like the shield is like your main source of damage and everything, you can totally do that. If you want to not use a sword and shield at all and just use a two-handed weapon, which I did maybe throughout like the middle portion of the game, you can do that too. And the cool thing with this is everything you do feels really, really good. So my kind of arc during the game is I played sword and shield first. I'm like, oh, this is totally it. And then I did a little bit with like the shield because I had some like good gear that's like, oh, well, you can charge it up like 3 times and it will do like even more damage or whatever. And then I went to a two-handed weapon where it's like, it was almost like I don't want to say Dark Souls because it's not that, but like you have to be a little bit more deliberate with like the attacks and stuff with the two-handed stuff. And you felt really, really powerful. And then by the end of the game, I was using a sword and shield because, and I know I'm getting long, but like this just is a testament to how cool the combat is. You can get like potions and stuff like that. And basically as you're fighting, you have like your 3 abilities and then your companions have 3 abilities. So you can pause the game and like say, okay, you hit this guy, you hit this guy, you hit this guy, and then you unpause it and they all attack and you do stuff. You can also do like quick actions if you want. Like once you like memorize like what those are, you don't have to pause the game every time, which is cool.
Is it akin to like a Final Fantasy VII remake?
It is
where you have the slow
it's definitely
time
closer
and-
to Mass Effect. So it's not slow time. It's literally like you're pausing the
Stopped.
game.
So Mass Effect.
So
Yeah, that
Mass
makes
Effect
sense.
it's
Same thing.
literally Mass. It's Mass
Okay,
Effect.
gotcha. Yeah.
It's a more dynamic. Like if you're gonna put it on a Mass Effect, it's more a Mass Effect Andromeda, but in a good way. Because I think Mass Effect Andromeda had the best combat of the
Yes,
of the series.
I agree.
So I think that's how that works. But throughout the entire game, it's like, okay, like you can hold 3 potions and you can have people heal you and do different things. By the end of the game, I was playing like this high risk, high reward build where potions didn't heal you. Instead, if you take potions, it recharged your ultimate, and only when you used your ultimate ability, that's what healed you. So like I would be on like the edge of death most of the time during combat, and I cannot express how like crazy that feels, but also like super, super exciting because you're like super powerful.
Right.
And then I found a sword that like if you have no potions, it's like, oh, you do double critical damage if you don't have any potions left and you're at like less than half health. And if you kill somebody with no potions, you just automatically get a potion. So there was a thing where like I was going and killing all like the low level guys, chugging potions every time I was killing them, kill 3 guys, drink 3 potions, use my ultimate, heal myself, and like do that loop. And that was during like the final like battles and stuff. It was wild, dude. But it was like what I was playing in the beginning, middle, and end are like vastly different in such a cool way. And like different characters. It was. I know I'm gushing over this, and like we'll get to like cons and stuff. But like the combat is, if you play this game just for the combat, I think this is the first Dragon Age game where it's like, nope, that makes sense. Because the other ones, like, it just never clicked with me because it was either, do you want to do like a Baldur's Gate like top down strategy thing, or you want to do kind of like a mediocre like almost like a Skyrim feel, like where just like you're just hitting things, whatever. This, it's like I had one where you just run, jump in the air, and do like a 2-footed like kick off people. Where you can literally like you're looking for environmental, like, is there a cliff nearby? Because I'm about to just yeet these guys off it, and it feels so good. Like nothing feels better than like this big new enemy that comes at you and starts running in, and like you have like both of your companions like stagger him and stun him, and you just double boot him off the map, and it's just like, okay, moving on, and they just give you the XP because it just kills them, and you just keep moving on, and it's so cool. Like it's really neat. So anyway, I know it took a lot of time with combat, but that's how good it was. A couple other things with gameplay. The movement in traversal is forgiving, but in a fun way. So like you're constantly jumping and like dodging off of things and whatnot, and you're never going to accidentally roll off a cliff. Like there's like this invisible barrier that like will always make it feel good. So if you're kicking guys off and punching guys off and stuff, you're not falling off with them.
Right,
You just feel like a badass.
Like a Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
But then the other cool thing with it too is, let's say you try to jump somewhere, like, I think I can make it, and you jump and you just fall off. Screen fades out, comes back in.
Right,
you don't lose health. You don't lose anything. It's like,
yeah.
You messed up. You didn't mean to do that.
Right.
Try it again.
Yeah.
Really, really cool, because it's not like you're not actively trying to do that stuff. Like, it's just like, we know you screwed up. We're not going to punish you for that. That's not fun.
Right.
So it cut all that out. And then the other thing is, every single time, I say near 100% because it was like 99.9% of the time, if you go off the beaten path, if you're like, I wonder what's over here, there is something there. I'm not saying it's like an epic loot item every time, but I did not explore a single place that I did not get something for it, which I think is awesome. Like, it's like they knew exactly, like, okay, they can go here, 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 and you're always finding chests, you're always finding loot, you're always finding this. Like that speaks to me because, my collectathon, like, okay, God.
Would you say those were like useful, even if they were at varying degrees?
100%.
Always something you could use.
100%.
Yeah.
I think, and this is more on the con side, which I guess we could really talk about, but the only thing that really was the con is this isn't really an RPG. Like, it is, and I know people talk about it as an RPG and other Dragon Ages are. This is very much an action adventure game. So when you're looking and you're getting all of these different resources and everything, and you're just accumulating just like all this gold and all these items, you don't really know what it's for, right? Like, eventually you're going to be upgrading weapons and stuff, but there's like 80 different weapons. so you don't know what you're trying to upgrade and things like that. So like, and I'm sure this is the wrong way to play it, but I basically just hoarded everything I got, which is what I do in every game.
Right.
I hoarded everything.
Yeah.
And then whenever you get to that inevitable, like, well, make sure you do everything you want to do. Otherwise, you can't come back here.
Right.
That's when I go to like the blacksmith and just like, okay, upgrade everything. And then you're just getting legendary stuff left and right and stuff. And it feels real good. So a couple things, gameplay loop, it is very video gamey, for better or worse. I thought it was fine, but it is like, okay, you go back to your base, you talk to the people that have question marks above their heads and stuff. Very Mass Effect. The nice thing with this one though is like the people that have something to say, they actually like show it on the map, so like you don't have to like actually try, like you don't have to run and talk to everybody. Right. So it's a little bit more beneficial for your time. But the map, like your home base is also like, I feel bigger than the Normandy. So it's kind of like a trek where it's like, oh, do I have to run all the way to the one end? Oh no, good, because no one's out there that I don't need to talk to. So it does feel video gamey, and it's very much like, okay, you did the companion mission. Now we got to wait till you get to another point in the story and do another. So like it's not bad per se, but they didn't evolve it in any way. It's not like this dynamic, like in the middle of another mission, something else pops up and you veer off, it's very like, no, you're doing this companion thing. Here you go. This is it. And okay, you finish it, you move on. It's not like, you're not getting like an end screen at the end where it's like, here's everything here, like that you won and stuff that Nate was talking about with Mass Effect. But it's not super far from that. So it's kind of like it doesn't do anything new. We already talked about the combat classes not being equal. So like some people had issues with the mage. I love the warrior. I played all three in the very beginning, and the warrior just felt.
There's only three classes.
Good. It's warrior, rogue, and mage. Yeah.
Interesting. How do people feel about the rogue? Because that might be what I do.
A lot of people do the rogue.
Okay.
Yeah. The nice thing with the rogue is you do have, because every class has the range and every class has a melee.
Mm-hmm.
So
like
with
skill trees and stuff.
Yeah. With the warrior, throwing the shield is my ranged.
Oh, so you're saying every class has ranged options, not
correct,
like a ranged
correct.
subclass?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
so you're never useless.
You can respec at will, nice. However you want to do it. I got to level 49, and I think it's out of 50 levels. So I put about 60 hours into the game, almost maxed out my character. But every class has 3 kind of like archetypes that you could go to. And by the end, I just went like the double-handed, like I was just like crushing people. So it is what it is. But like not all classes are created equal. I thought the melee class was very good. People seem to like the rogue best. So if you're playing rogue, then that's good.
If I get to that, I think rogue kind of, because I don't want to do warrior.
Yeah.
Because like you've already described the experience to me, and it sounds awesome. But for the sake of the couch company expanding our viewpoint on this game, maybe a rogue is better. I do love rogues too, so it's not like I'm sacrificing anything. But
the combat is literally good enough that like that alone kept me going. Like every fight I was just excited.
Curious about the mage though. I mean, is it maybe there's a stark difference? That's why, because I think mage might be one of the more popular ones, right? Nate said he always plays mages for Dragon Age.
You have a melee option for mage. Yeah. But it just depends on how you spec it and stuff. I'm saying like early on, especially before you get like just this kind of like wide range of options, warrior just felt the best to me. That's all.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, to be fair though, I go back now. It might be like I might love the rogue and I might try it.
It's very interesting you say that. Like, there's just some times in games, right, that you just pick the perfect class for the perfect situation and everything lines up. So I have like a couple examples of that. So one is the Star Wars MMO.
Yeah.
Star Wars: The Old Republic. I picked Sith. I picked Warrior. And whether it was the story, the abilities, my look, everything about it was perfect. Yep. It was like literally if I wrote my own character in Star Wars, this would be him to a T. Yeah. Everything I wanted, down to the last little decision. So it's just like sometimes the stars align, and like I love that game. Like, it's in my top 100. right? We have those posters, and some people might be surprised by that because I'm not a huge MMO guy, but sometimes you just have those decisions. It's also like Cyberpunk, where I went stealth build, sneaky archer build, and it's just like no tech, just silence pistol,
just feels good,
breaking necks. It was exactly what I wanted. I just snuck into every base. It never was detected, in and out. I'm a ghost. So I say all that just to say I know what you're talking about. And sometimes it's interesting, like, does that inflate how I feel about the game just because it lined up with exactly what I wanted?
I mean, it has to. Right? Like, it has to. If it clicks, it clicks.
Right. But that's not the game's fault. That's what the game's trying to do. 100%. The game's trying to say, hey, you want to do this? I have this, right?
It truly is like everything that I like about combat and don't like about combat and stuff. It hit every single one.
Yeah.
Like it even like you talk about like invincibility frames and iframes and stuff. So like if you roll while someone's attacking you, they don't hit you, right?
Okay.
There's parrying, but it's generous parrying. And like you can get stuff that like extends that window and stuff. And it just like never did I feel like I'm trying to do something and it's like just kicking my butt. Like, I'm not saying I died a couple times, right? Because like it gets tough, especially when there's like a bunch of range stuff and you have to like kind of pick and choose your targets.
Right.
But like, I mean, my ultimate is literally like Hulk smash. Like I'm just like pounding the ground. And it feels so good every time that you really get into this kind of flow state rhythm. Like you're just crushing things.
Yes.
So it's cool. And then the major con I had with gameplay though, and eventually like I just played enough of it that I got around it, is the help and tutorials. Like it gives you some hints while you're learning things, but then if you want to go back and like, oh hey, what did this say or whatever, we talked about Final Fantasy Rebirth. I think that's a masterclass in like, I didn't play that game for 6 months or whatever, like from when it came out to fairly recently.
Right.
I went back, played through all the tutorials. I'm like, oh, not only do I know how to play this game now, but like I have a better understanding because I actually took the time to go in and learn all that stuff.
Yeah.
Dragon Age, nothing. It has a glossary, but like it talks about like, oh, armor is blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, but what's armor? Is armor a yellow bar or a blue bar or a red bar or green? Like it's like what is it?
Right.
So either I'm dumb and I just couldn't find where it was, which is also, if you can't find the help, that's an issue. But I don't think it exists, and I don't think it's very good. So like, I think that's a major downside where if you take a break from it and you come back, it might be hard to kind of re-enter.
Right.
So I know I'm going long. I'll go quicker here. So story and characters. One of the biggest issues with Dragon Age Inquisition was you got stuck on that first area because it was like there's just so much to do that people just like stayed in that first area, myself included, where I'm just like, okay, I'm like doing a million different side quests, doing all these different things, and like you don't move on.
Right.
This game just is constantly like, hey, like it starts off with a big like epic, like, hey, here's some consequences, here's what's happening. You have to save the world basically. And what this game does in a good way is you never lose sight of that. Like a lot of games, it's like in Mass Effect, not so much, but like Mass Effect, it's always like, oh my gosh, the Reapers are coming, whatever. With this, it's like more so. It's like these elven gods got loose and they're gonna like destroy the world. Like we have to stop them. So every conversation, not every single one, but like most conversations somehow tie back to that. So you never lose sight of that. You never lose sight of like what you're trying to work for. And the game constantly is like, oh, go here and talk to this thing, and it opens up a new city for you to explore. Oh, go here, go here, go here. So I think that's really cool that it's like forcing you to like jump to these different locations and stuff and explore and open up the map and things like that. But one of the kind of subjectively that might be tough is I was very disoriented for the first part of the game because the map doesn't do a lot of favors where it's like, okay, like there's like your home base and there's like kind of this like middle crossroads thing where it's like a hub to get to different places, but then you also have the overall map and all the different locations, and like it gets a little messy there in the beginning, but overall I think it's good because it shows you, hey, here's everything you can go to, now do it however you want to do it. And I think that was kind of cool. So you're always getting propelled. I think the main storyline's always being told. It's pretty, I'll say one note, like hey, big bad guys want to destroy the world, you have to save it. Like that's your main thread. But it did actually feel like high stakes, like, oh crap, like you tangle. It's not like you just hear about the big bad guy until the very end of the game and then you fight them. It's like you're tussling throughout. Like you're seeing what they're doing. You're thwarting plans. They're knocking at you and stuff. And it's like they do a good job kind of like taking the two action figures and just banging them together a little bit. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then you get to, like, during character creation, you get to pick like a background. It's put in there, but like you don't really know what it is, especially new players. I think maybe like if you're in the Dragon Age lore, that might mean more to you. But you tend not to. I wasn't really like, okay, I picked a background, but like, how does that really? By the end of the game, totally on board, totally get it. But the beginning part, it's like, you have a few references, but it's not like anything crazy. And then when it comes to characters, like there are a couple characters here that like are some of my favorite characters in video games. One specifically. So like there's a necromancer in there that like he might be my like in a short list of favorite video game characters. Like it's crazy.
Wow.
I don't think all the characters hit with me, and it's tough, and maybe it's just like kind of nostalgia where it's like, do I love any of these characters? Like I love Mass Effect and stuff like that. Like
right.
It's a little tough, but I think all the characters are well done. I think they're all very distinct. I think they all have their kind of main things. So some of the cons though, there are side quests that can be filler, as all big open world games. I think the one bright spot to that is even if you're doing a side quest and even if it's filler, you are helping a certain city. Basically, like you're like bolstering it. So similar to how like Mass Effect, you had to be like ready for the Reapers and you had to like get everything to like a 3-star thing. You do that. So you're still feeling like you're contributing to like the end game by doing the side quest. And the side quests aren't super long and it's still fun to do the combat. So like it wasn't, no offense to Final Fantasy 16, but it's like Final Fantasy 16, I know there are some good side quests, but there are some that are just like, oh gosh, I don't want to do this.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
This felt a little bit more rewarding than that, at least. And then I talked about the disorientation at the first with it. The thing with the characters, so during character creation, you make your character, and then you also make your character from Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, really?
Which I did not know.
So you can import them?
You can't import them.
You cannot.
You have to rebuild them.
You have to rebuild them.
Yes.
That seems like an oversight.
So, and I'll just say I never played Inquisition. I played Inquisition, but like not in any meaningful way.
Right.
So
sure.
When the Inquisitor, which is your main, like the hero of Inquisition, comes, it does not land for me because I'm a new player. Now, old players would be like, oh my gosh, that's like a big thing. And like, it made a lot more sense towards the end where I'm like, oh, Morgan was in this old game. Oh, this was okay, I see why everyone's like basically like bowing to them and it's a big deal when you meet them. Yeah. Because I was like, should I know these people? I don't care. So your mileage may vary. If you never played an older Inquisition game, I don't think it takes away from it per se from the overall story or anything, but it is something that it's not going to land for new players.
Right.
And then the last thing with the party is I was expecting them to be a little bit more autonomous, where it's like, oh, I care about what happens with my life, or oh, I care about this decision, or I have opinions. This goes back to the video game aspect of it, where it's like every character is like, what should I do? How should I feel about this situation? And it's like, dude, like you should be a person. Or any decision I made in the game, and maybe I just made decisions that everyone liked or whatever, unless it was a super blatant, like one person saying you should do this and the other one saying this, and you side with one of them and the other one's like, I don't like that. Doesn't matter. Like, it's not going to do anything. There was one decision that was like a legit, like, oh crap, like this is going to have like consequences, not in the game because there's plenty of that, but like this is going to have consequences for a specific party member that you have to kind of like juggle. I would want
like a Caden Ashley decision.
Yeah.
And
I want way more of that. Like there was one in the beginning, and there a lot of decisions at the end, like during like your I put in parentheses like suicide mission, like similar to Mass Effect 2.
Sure.
A lot of that there, but like I would like more of that. So it's a con for me, but I think overall. And then just the other stuff. I'll be quick. The character and the voice acting, every single character is awesome. Like I think they all nailed their voice acting. I think it's believable. I think the emotion and everything comes through with it really well. I think even the side characters are all great. So I think that's all good. And then the sound design, I think by the time at the end, I actually knew the Dragon Age theme. And it felt pretty good, like when you're doing that stuff. So I think all that's good. And then the combat's pretty good too, where it's like as I'm pounding the ground or like clanging things off, like it felt visceral and gritty, and I was like, I like that. So the only thing I think sound design wise that was annoying is your party, if you're standing in like a red zone, because like it's like if the just don't stand in red. It's like every MMO, it's everything. It's like the enemy is going to do something bad here, get away. The party is always like, oh, I wouldn't stand there. Like, get out of there. But it's like constant. Like everybody's like, get out of there. On one hand, super cool that they're like very aware and it's like they're shouting to each other during the battle. I think that's neat because if they prep someone, like, because there's like a chance for them to like apply a certain thing that then I can detonate, they'll call it out and they'll be like, he's ready for you. Like, get him or whatever. I'm like, that's cool. But when you hear it 100 times over a course of a 60-hour game, like more voice lines, something like more contextual stuff, I think that could be neat too. But anyway, all that being said, presentation really, really well. It runs perfectly. I had ray tracing on and I was getting above 60 frames just consistently. I had one issue during the game where it was raining and we were near water and the water was like flashing. And there was some weird thing with ray tracing where I just didn't know what to do with the light or shadows or reflections or something there that was messing up. But it was like in one cutscene for like 30 seconds. And that's the only glitch I saw in the entire thing. No crashes, no nothing, no stuttering. It's so weird to play a game. Like I was like, okay, like what? I'm going to lose progress. We get nothing. Like you play Call of Duty, it crashed like half a dozen times within one mission or whatever. This was flawless in 60 hours. That's insane to me. So that deserves to be like every game should do that, but like, hey, good job. You made a good thing. And then the environments are incredible too, because you go to like a million different places and sometimes it's the same like city, but they do it in such a way that like only like a quarter of the city is open to you. And then later in the game, like something happens, now the city looks different, or it opens up certain sections of it and stuff, and it's a different environment. I don't think they could make another environment in there because they run the gamut of like, here's your mountain and here's your molten lava forge and here's your like ethereal place and here's your forest and your city and like it's crazy. Like there's like kind of like a Batman, like a pseudo Batman, like one of your characters is like she's kind of like a detective protector thing. Like it's very, very good. One of the best character creators, like you could spend a million years not really, but you know what I mean? Like you could spend a long time in there. And it does one of the best things where let's say you make a rogue and you spend 2 hours making your perfect character, right? And then you're like, crap, I really don't like the rogue, but I also don't want to make a new character. It literally will import your character that you made as is. And then it's just like, okay, you want to be a warrior now? Okay, start a new character. You import your character. You're good. Here's a warrior class. So it made it super easy to have a character, make something that you like. The animations and the facial thing and the way your character fits in is like flawless. Like it's really good. Like you are a character in that world and it is excellent. So that's really, really good. People criticized it for a couple things. So like people criticized it for being like Pixar, like a little bit too cartoony. I think that is very subjective. I think that some people wouldn't like it. They want something a little bit more real, like more Dragon's Dogma. I think it worked for what it was. I like there's plenty of very gruesome adult type things that like it's like no, it can get serious. Like there's some stuff there. But there was this weird thing at the very end of the game where like they changed the coloring or the lighting of it and made it more gritty. And it looked real good. So I was like, oh, I kind of wish the whole game was like this. So take it as you will there. And then the only other issue that I had was the load times. Whenever you go to the menus, it like fades out, has like a 1 second load, and then fades in. That's too long. It needs to be instant, especially when you're in the menus for like your map and your inventory and your characters and companions and your skills, and it's like just too long. Also, you can decorate your base and your room, and you can like buy trophies and different things like that and put them places, but it does nothing for you. So I was like, as soon as I found that, because like at least just be like, oh, if you put this vase up, you get 1% more XP or something. Like, I don't care. Like, make it worth something. It just was not fleshed out at all. Like, it just seemed like it was something they might have done, and then they just were like, we ran out of time. Okay, that's a lot of me talking. I'm sorry. Last thing is, as far as the character thing, and I know I kind of skated over this. If you go online, you're going to see a million things of like, this is too woke, they're just checking boxes, this isn't Dragon Age, this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. I will say they handle certain, we'll call it like woke topics, or like one of your characters is non-binary, and they like are very inelegant with it. Like, they're very heavy-handed with it. It's like there's a million other ways they could have weaved it into the story to actually make you feel more connected to the character and kind of like understand it. It's like they tried to cram the whole arc of character realizes that they're non-binary, and then they try to tell like their mother who isn't receptive of that, and then it's just like I understand what they're trying to do, but the time frame that they did it in and the way that they did it was just not well. I can it felt shoehorned in. So that was definitely not the greatest. Also, it feels weird where like, you know, it's a game about decision and different things like that, where you can be a jerk. You can just kill people. Like, just like Mass Effect, you can be like the guy of like, I don't care, I'm a bad guy. But when it comes to certain things like talking about, you know, oh, you're non-binary, like you can only say like positive things. You can only be supportive of that. So it's like, if you're trying to make this game about like decisions and things like that, if you want to be a jerk and you're just like not accepting of them or whatever, like, have them leave your party. Have some sort of consequence of like, okay, they left, now you like this whole section's gone, or you can't do this, or you can't do it. Like, have something there where it's like choices matter, characters matter, because it all seems like just window dressing on certain things like that. So I did want to talk about that, because if you go online, like, that's like a major contention with this. I don't think that I love the character. I thought the character was great. I just think they could have handled it better. Like Baldur's Gate. I think Baldur's Gate does a very good job with that kind of stuff, where it's just like, it's just natural. Like, if not to belabor the point, but like, if they were non-binary and that's how you met them and introduced them, and then it's like, oh yeah, my mom's not super into this, blah, blah, blah. And like, you already had that arc and there was already that history there, but to have all of it condensed into like a 30-minute, like, cause it's all missions, it just felt very rushed and very like you didn't earn anything doing that stuff. It was just not well done. So that would be a con there. But overall, holy cow, did I love this game. I don't understand why. Like you said, like everyone, like the Open Critic, Metacritic is like 81. I'm giving this game an 88, which is obviously significantly higher than a lot of people. This falls in our gold, so anything above an 86 falls in our gold category. This game checked every box that I was looking for in terms of just an action adventure. We'll call it like role playing light game, collectathon, awesome story and characters, awesome combat gameplay, respectful of your time. Like, it was very, very well done. I know I was talking a ton, but that is my review of Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I think it is worth playing.
Yeah. No, I mean, very thorough.
Sorry.
And
yes.
It's just surprising. I mean, it makes me really question, because you're right, like, 81, which is not a bad score by any means, right? But
no. Well, that's
drastically different.
Well, like IGN gave it a 9. So like there are people out there that are connected with
so
it.
maybe it's a very hit or miss type of game.
Maybe it depends on your class. Maybe it depends on how into Dragon. Because again, I did not like Dragon Age.
Right.
So maybe this would be the same thing where like you and I really like Mass Effect. If they deviated, let's say they turned Mass Effect into a top-down strategy game. Ugh. Do we still like that? I mean, maybe we would, but like, it's a very different type of game. And I think that's what this is, where it's like, there's kind of this, yes, it pulls from older games, but it's very much its own new thing.
Right. Yeah.
And I think in some ways it would struggle with that, but for a new person to that series, they never really clicked with the other ones. I thought this was a great jumping in point.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah,
anyway.
right. Yep.
Veilguard is not a thing. So they have the Veil jumpers, and you want to guard the Veil. But Veilguard is not so that was, I don't know why they changed that, but
flows.
It is what it is. But yeah, they have some characters in there. And then if you get to play it, I can't wait to talk to you about the end whole sequence. It's like maybe like an hour and a half, like suicide mission.
Yeah.
All thing. And it's just, there's so many like, what the heck? Like, okay, like in our game of the year stuff, whenever we talk about like greatest moments of the year,
right?
I'm going to have some things to talk about for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
Every year you do seem to have that one purple. And purple is, I mean, like an 80, like low 80s, high 70s game on OpenCritic. That's what I mean by purple.
Yeah.
You have that one purple game that you really, really clicks with you. And this seems to be that one.
I think
this
it is.
Year,
yeah.
Which is surprising because generally it's an indie game, but this is obviously mainstream AAA. So
yeah, I'm looking through.
That's interesting.
That's easily the top one. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like last year it was the pirate game, Shadow Gambit.
Yeah.
The Ghost Crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Cursed Crew, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. That's interesting. No, I'm glad you really liked it. That's awesome to hear. I mean, that's the goal. Yeah. It's always great to find that hidden gem.
Yep.
So, which is weird again because this is like a mainstream game, so it's like but yeah, that's the unpopular consensus compared to everyone else.
Well, Inquisition was game of the year, right? Like that was the thing.
So I think you might be onto something. It probably has a lot to do with it's not your typical Dragon Age. And
so let me put it this way. I went back and I looked at some of the cutscenes from Inquisition.
Yeah.
And like I think the voice acting is like much better in the Veilguard. Like
Inquisition's also like 9 years old, I think.
100%.
Right.
But that's what I mean is like it
you got to factor that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. But like it is so like all the animations, all the cutscenes, all like it's constantly giving cutscenes and like create like it did everything very, very well.
Yeah.
I really, it's hard for me to think of things that would be like, oh, I wish this was better. I wish this was better. Like they exist, but it's like, it's pretty solid. And now that my cousin will hear this and he'll go and he'll get it and he'll hate it. Justin, I'm sorry. This is not a Sweeney Todd thing. I put 60. Like, here's the thing. I put 60 hours in this game. So
you backed it up. I mean, you're not lying. You're not scamming anyone here.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
I would be hard pressed. I think there's maybe 3 or 4 characters in this game that I'm like, these are top tier characters.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, when you said that is a statement.
Yeah.
That's a statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
We have Game of the Year nominations. Do we have time to go through
That's
those?
up to you, man. How you feeling?
I think we can cook through those.
All right.
How long have we been going for?
We'll cook. We're at 113 right now.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's we'll make sure we're efficient with this. Are we gonna have the screen during this or what?
What do you mean? For the podcast itself? No, we will not have it.
Okay.
We will not have this.
So follow along at the GameAwards.com.
Yeah.
We're starting from the back to the front. I think that's a better way to do it so that you get the categories you don't. Leading up to Game of the Year, right? Yeah. So, I think how we're gonna do this, though,
I'm gonna let you lead this because I've been talking for.
No, that's totally fine. Instead of maybe going overall, especially in these early categories where most people might not know the different nominations, we'll just kind of maybe talk through what we know. So we'll start with the esports stuff. Best esports team. It's obviously T1. I mean, League of Legends, they won again, which is crazy because this is maybe 5 or 6 or something. It's insane. They're the best, but that's all I'll say about that. They're the greatest.
Okay.
Greatest of all time.
So as we're going through this, we logged into our X account as Couch Company. So we are going to agree on the things that we're voting for.
Yeah.
For this. So
all the esports stuff, Tyler's just gonna...
T1, I 100% agree with you.
Uh-huh.
That is it.
Yeah.
And I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, we're going to go previous every time because we're starting from the back. Exactly.
Yeah, that's not a pain in the ass at all. Okay.
Yeah.
What about the best esports athlete?
All right, so I'm doubling up here. It's going to be Faker. He is
from T1,
the greatest of all time. Even if you're not into esports, you know who Faker is, and he won again. He's just Tom Brady at this point. He's Tom Brady of League of Legends. So it's gonna be Faker. He's the GOAT. It's not even close. Like, I'm sorry, he's gonna win.
South Korea.
Yes.
Nice.
You want to get into that conversation again, or this was best esports game. Can you scroll down a little bit? Yeah. So Counter Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang. Well, that's hilarious. That's even nominated in Valorant. You know me. I think League is. I don't think anything touches it. I mean, obviously, a Counter Strike is great, has a great following, and Valorant too. I think, especially these days. I don't know if you have a preference on this, Ty, but I could see those 3 winning. I don't know what's going to win in here, but
League won last year, didn't it?
Yeah,
or was it Valorant?
It might have been like Valorant then League, and they're kind of shuffling it. It's always the same. It's the usual suspects,
I think if I'm watching something, I would actually prefer League, but Valorant would be a close second.
Yeah.
I will make a prediction though that I forget what it's called, but the Valve hero shooter Overwatch type.
Whenever
thing,
that comes out, that's gonna take over.
That's gonna be it. Yeah,
I'm
sure.
with you.
Easy prediction.
All right, content creator of the year. I don't know any of these people.
Do we want to abstain?
Can we abstain?
Yeah, we could just keep hitting previous.
Okay.
Just go past.
Very good. I actually don't know.
Do you want to try to pronounce any of these names?
Queso, Ilawan, Techo Gamers, Typical Gamer, Usada Pecora?
Yeah, that was spot on. Okay. Good luck to all of them.
Yeah.
I would do Pirate Software on that one. He's been on my feed constantly.
I think my favorite content creator, maybe Maximilian Dude, especially since I was playing Tekken this year, and he's like the fighting. He's known for the fighting game stuff and the Final Fantasy stuff. So it's like a double.
You know what? That's
actually
that's a solid pick. I'd back you on that. Not that he's not on it. So
he's not on it.
Sorry,
that's who I would vote for. That I would write in.
Too niche.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I think he's like one of the biggest guys on Twitch.
Is he?
100. He's huge.
Then that's not who I'm thinking of.
He's huge.
But okay.
You would recognize him. I know who you're thinking of because I said Tekken. But you would recognize him if I sent you.
Rufamonger? Is that who I'm thinking of?
You were thinking of Rufamonger, yeah. Who does the guides and stuff. Yeah. Which I would also. I mean, those were very helpful. I love his guides. I was actually really upset that he didn't do more Tekken guides. He kind of.
Well, you got to do where the whatever the newest stuff is.
Like I think he'll do like Heihachi and stuff, but he never did like a Nina guide. The way I got into what's her name? Who's the Spanish chick? Azucena was his guide. Yeah,
wow.
He really.
You've been gone too
he's
long.
He's a great. I know I have. She's new, so it's okay.
Okay.
Most anticipated game. Yeah, you need to scroll down when we do this because the soundbar's blocking me. So, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotai, Grand Theft Auto 6, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto is this is the easiest slam dunk ever.
Do you think?
All right, here we go.
Do you think? Or
I don't tend to, but
no. So
okay.
So do we want to do a cheeseburger?
You said, do you think or?
Well, do you want to do a cheeseburger?
Okay, cheeseburger.
So you think it's Grand Theft Auto 6? Easy.
I would bet whatever you want.
A cheeseburger. We'll just do a cheeseburger.
We'll do a cheeseburger, but I want the record to show that it could have been whatever he wants.
I'm going to pick Monster Hunter Wild.
You think Monster Hunter Wild is going to win?
Yes. And
cheeseburger that.
You were shaking on this.
That's the easiest cheeseburger in my life.
Here's why.
Okay, here's why.
I don't think Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out this year.
It doesn't matter.
I think Monster Hunter Wilds dropped a demo. I think that demo skyrocketed and had more concurrent players than any other game on Steam. So I think in terms of
this is, I just want to. I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is the worst bet you've ever taken of your life.
Maybe.
It doesn't even matter what this title was. As long as Grand Theft Auto 6 is on there, it wins. I'm not even
kidding.
What
if it doesn't win? Are you thinking it's like what's wrong there then?
It's gonna win. I would literally bet you $1,000.
I can't do that.
I know you can't.
I can only do $1,000 bet at a time.
I know, exactly. But that's how confident I am. It is literally a lock. It might be the most confident on this entire list.
I think you're underestimating Monster Hunter Wilds.
I am not.
I think there's a lot of stars aligning on it.
Underestimating Grand Theft Auto, dude. So much.
It's an overrated series.
That's fair.
Personally,
you know what? I'll even let you do our vote on Monster Hunter Wild, but
I am not.
Okay. Personally,
our vote,
yes.
I am all in on Ghost of Yotai.
Ooh. For me, I would do Grand Theft Auto 6, but I do really like Ghost of Tsushima. So I'm fine with that.
I'll go with Grand Theft Auto 6 for you.
You sure?
What
if it wins by one vote?
Well, we have no bearing on this. I don't think we vote. I think it's just like,
oh, really?
This is what the audience thinks.
Oh, this just doesn't even matter?
Yeah, I think this is just for Jeff Keighley to see how close.
I like the shout, though. I think that's going to be really good. I liked the first. You didn't even play the first one, though.
Yeah, I did.
You finished it?
I didn't finish it. I played it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, all right. Sure.
Ghost of Yotai looked really good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Grand Theft Auto we're not getting until 2026, so I think Monster Hunter Wilds is.
It doesn't matter. We think we're getting it next year.
You got the demo.
All that matters.
It's coming out in February.
No,
like the hype is
not
real.
Even
all right,
close.
All right,
it's not even.
I think
close.
Jeff has my back.
No, he does not.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does. He just recently got into Grand Theft Auto, so he doesn't. All right. Best adaptation: Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon, Yakuza, Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft. This is a slam dunk for Arcane. Although I do know people really liked Fallout.
I think Fallout wins this.
Recency bias for Arcane, and it's its last season. It's also a masterpiece. I think Arcane should win, but maybe I'm biased.
Are you caught up on it? Like you watched it all?
The last 3 episodes come out tomorrow.
I was waiting until they're all out, so they come out tomorrow, so I can watch the entire season.
And it's all on Plex, just in case.
Oh, really?
Nice. It is, yeah.
All right, I'm fine voting for Arcane for the Couch Company.
Yes,
I think Fallout grabs this personally.
Interesting. It might.
Arcane won it last time.
I know.
So I think that the fact that Arcane took down Last of Us is kind of nuts.
That is very nuts. But it's that good. I think it is that good. I really do.
Sure.
But I'll tell you this. I'm not going to bet you on this one because I could see a world where Fallout wins. I think those are really the only two we're talking about here.
I think Fallout is... So here's the thing. Arcane is animated. Yes. You can kind of do whatever. Like it's not... Look, I don't want to downplay that at all. I would say that
the budget for that was $250 million
for Arcane.
Yep.
Jeez,
isn't that crazy?
I think
I still think it's the best animation I've ever seen.
100%. Like it's very very good. Netflix got into some hot water because they used AI to extend a poster for it because they're trying to fit it in a certain thing. So they used AI to like generate like a little bit extra.
Okay.
And then
for what, Arcane?
For Arcane, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had to take it down because
what do you mean a poster?
So like you know how like Netflix, the way I understand it is like Netflix has like different places where you put your artwork. So it's like, oh, here's a vertical piece, here's a horizontal piece, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So to fit it, they used AI and extended it.
Interesting.
And then Riot was like, that is extremely disrespectful to the artists that did that stuff. So they had to take it down.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
right.
I think Fallout, it is all live action and so like legit, like in that. I don't like Fallout, and I was like, this show's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I heard very good things about it, so
yeah,
I wouldn't, All right, best multiplayer: Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party, Tekken 8, Warhammer 40K. I actually think this is crazy. You know what I think should win this? And I didn't even play this game, Helldivers 2.
I think so too.
Because Tekken 8's online is not great. It's a great game, but specifically the multiplayer is actually one of the biggest problems with it, right? With people rage quitting, with the ranks being too easy and like inflated.
Yep.
And then obviously Call of Duty has its host of problems. Yeah, I think Helldivers 2, that's what I would vote for. So
yeah, Call of Duty is a known quantity. I think you know what you're getting there, and it's
good. It's fun.
Like fun with it. Yeah,
you have the zombies component to it as well, right? You have more than just the standard multiplayer, but
Helldivers, you have to play it multiplayer, or you don't play that game.
Right. Even though I didn't play it, I think I would, just based on what I've heard. Yeah.
All right.
Next up is going to be best sports / racing. Excuse me. F1 24, EA Sports FC 25, NBA 2K25, Top Spin, WWE. Sports games are dead. They're so fucking dead. This is so sad. And when there's not a good racing game, it's so sad. Give it to WWE. I saw some people playing that.
So here's my thing.
Okay, here we go. Convince me.
I believe EA Sports FC just barely missed out on the highest gross sales of a sports game of all time.
Sure. Yeah, when you get all the kids addicted to gambling, that seems to be what happens.
My thing with WWE, I believe this is the one where all the stuff with Vince McMahon and how they had to like scrub stuff and mess stuff up and things like that. Not mess it up, but like kind of like keep him away.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be a little bit of
I don't know the history behind it, so I trust your opinion on this.
Well, no, I
guess F1 might be good. I do see people talking about that, but dude, sports games are so dead. I mean,
do we want to abstain from this? We don't have to vote.
We talk about 20 years ago, man. Sports games were like on top of the world. Every Madden that came out, you were just so excited for it. It was just game changing. Now it's dead.
Sure.
Now it's dead.
Sure.
And if it's not a Forza coming out, it's like nothing should win.
If you want WWE, I'm fine with that.
No. I literally, it's the only reason I say that is like I saw someone playing it the other day.
Tell you what, it's not 2K's fault. All of the crap that's going on in the WWE.
The only reason I said that is because it's the only one I saw anyone playing. Okay, right, so it's like we can abstain if you want. All right, we voted for it, whatever. And we're canceled. Well,
that's the funny thing is like I love how.
The Rock?
No, it's not The Rock. It's Hulk Hogan in the background.
Huge. His peck is way bigger than it should be.
Well, I'm just saying you could be a little racist and get canceled, but then like just give it a couple years apparently, and then he's just right back on the cover of a video game. Yeah. It's like
time heals all wounds. I guess
that's
what I've heard.
Don't know. Yeah.
All right.
Feels.
Let's get off of that. Everything was bad about that. All right. Best sim / strategy: Age of Mythology Retold, Frostpunk 2. Kunitsu Gami, Path of the Goddess, Manor Lords, and Unicorn Overlord. I think you know where I'm going here. I think Unicorn Overlord takes this easy. And I think it's easy. Although Frostpunk 2, very high ratings.
I loved Kunitsu.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is the tower defense.
Oh, that's the one you were talking about. Sure.
I thought this was excellent. Okay. But not as excellent as Unicorn Overlord.
Unicorn Overlord was a big surprise.
What a great game.
Great game.
And here's the thing is I played like it was like 5 or 6 hours. Like they just the demo was like, here, just go nuts.
They gave you so much. Yeah. Yep.
So good.
Yep.
Unicorn Overlord. I hope they get that.
Got to play that game. All right, best family. We got Astro Bot, Princess Peach, Showtime, Super Mario Party, Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, and The Plucky Squire. Obvious Astro Bot here. Yes. I mean, if Astro Bot doesn't win this one, Nintendo has the Game Awards hostage.
No, let me be a little bit more clear.
Okay,
if Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom gets this,
yes,
then there is tomfoolery.
There's no hope
happening.
There's no hope.
Yeah.
Did Mario Party even do well? I don't remember hearing. It was like mid, right?
Yeah, but
I think everything Nintendo released this year, right? Make sure I'm not missing anything. Pretty mid.
Yes, I think.
Right?
Yeah, because like Mario
Brothers
and stuff was
super mid. The Princess Peach.
Yeah. Yeah, I think technically Legend of Zelda was like an 86 or something.
Is Unicorn Overlord technically a Nintendo game?
No, it's on PlayStation.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Astro Bot for sure.
Oh, Astro Bot should.
Dude, they literally made the controller like they made an Astro Bot controller.
Yeah.
So it's just like great. I don't know, it's perfect.
All right, best fighting game. We have Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero, Grand Blue Fantasy, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, Multiverses, and Tekken 8.
I know you're torn.
I love Dragon Ball. It's It was great for me.
Yeah.
But I have to give it to Tekken 8. Like
Okay,
it shouldn't be close.
For the couch company.
Yeah. It's got to be Tekken 8.
Yeah.
Although, like, for the, a lot of people love Dragon Ball, so it's like, and I think Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is a good game, even though it's a silver tier. I think it's a solid silver tier, like a good time. It's not going to change the genre or anything, but it's just a great time. It was a great nostalgia trip.
Tekken 8 did like this was somewhat of a mid score, right? Like it was like 84, 83,
I put it right around what OpenCritic had, but it's sold like hotcakes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's selling super well.
I would love to see Tekken 8 win this. And, it might.
It should. But the fact that Multiverses is on here is crazy because it literally won it a couple years ago.
The Multiverses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But they they took it off and then relaunched it.
Yep.
And now it's back. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can do anything you want.
Yeah. The game. Yeah. We already talked about it.
We didn't, though.
We didn't really talk about it. I guess we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, speaking of which, best RPG, Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, which you might be thinking, wait a minute, John, didn't Elden Ring come out previously in a previous year?
2023?
Yes, it did.
Or no, 2022.
Dear listener, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a DLC. Anyways, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor Refantasio. This is a tough one. This is pretty stacked, actually. I haven't played enough of Metaphor. I could see that winning. So just from my experience, I would give it to Final Fantasy. But I could see Metaphor winning this one. Like a Dragon, also very, very good, but...
I'm with you on the... I mean, that's the only one I played, but I know how much you love the Final Fantasy.
Very, very good.
The fact that Dragon's Dogma 2 is on here and not Dragon Age, and look,
the fact that Elden Ring's on here and not Dragon Age is what you should really be, because look, Dragon's Dogma 2 scored very highly.
Yeah,
it's popular for some reason, but Elden Ring, there should be a DLC category, and that's it. Cyberpunk should have won best DLC last year easily. It was an amazing DLC.
Because we haven't talked about it, the DLC. So DLC, early access, literally if it's available for public consumption, it is eligible to just put anything
horrible
out.
Precedent to set.
You just throw those floodgates open.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's crazy.
In the thing that my biggest issue with Elden Ring, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, like a bad game or anything, but it's not standalone. You can't just buy it and be like, oh, I'm going to play it.
Right.
If I wanted to play this, I would have to get Elden Ring, play through Elden Ring to get to this DLC or to a certain point or whatever. I get that. But it's just like, man, and to be fair, Cyberpunk was the exact same way.
But I was in agreement. It should have been its own category. It should be a DLC. There's enough DLC that comes out. Yep. Like the Alan Wake DLC came out this year, right? Yep. And there's enough DLC that comes out where you could have its own category, I feel like.
But the Alan Wake stuff, I could even see because you could buy it separately. It's a standalone. I think it's a standalone thing, right? Like you don't have to have Alan Wake, do you? For the new stuff.
You probably do, right? You have to have Alan.
I didn't think you did, but okay, fair enough.
I think you do. I think you have to have it. It's a DLC. It should be its own category.
Yeah.
It should be its own category.
Nah, whatever. All right, Final Fantasy.
If you're talking about a spin-off like Tiny Tina's, sure. But that's not a DLC.
I'm talking like when Red Dead Zombies came out. That was standalone. You could just buy Red Dead Zombies and play that game. Like you didn't need to play Red Dead.
Okay. Or like Fortnite.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, best action/adventure. We have Astro Bot, we have Prince of Persia, we have Silent Hill, we have Star Wars Galaxies. Just kidding. Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, sorry.
Because you haven't scrolled down.
Scroll up.
And we have The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of the Wisdom.
Once again, if Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom wins.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
I'm going to leave the country. No, it's insane. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I heard Silent Hill 2 is actually very, very good.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing.
Okay, here we go.
For best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
Right.
Okay.
Especially with the next category that we're going to go over. I mean, these categories are horrible.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, with that description, what do you even give this to, right?
So
because Astro Bot's great, but the combat is I don't know. Isn't it pretty straightforward?
It's pretty straightforward. I don't think we
Prince
gave
of Persia.
Yeah, we gave Prince of Persia kind of like a mid 80.
Yeah, wasn't bad at all. It's not my game. It's really not.
I think the only one I haven't played is Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
But I think out of those, I would actually give it to Prince of Persia for the description of what that is.
Yes.
Because the combat is very good, the traversal is very good, and there's puzzle solving.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think you have it all.
Yeah.
I think even with the puzzle solving, it does one of the best things where you can take that picture, and then you can always go back and be like, oh, what was that? Oh, okay, I can do this now and stuff.
Right.
I think it did a very good job.
Yeah, I'm willing to go there. I think, maybe I actually don't know what's going to win here. Maybe Astro Bot again, but
I think Dragon Age should be here. Not even RPG. Put a Dragon Age here, but whatever.
All right, we'll go Prince of Persia.
Yeah. We'll do Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown.
Okay, so now the next category is Best Action Game.
Yeah, which same thing, but all combat.
Yeah, so for the best game, the action genre focused primarily on... It's just... I don't get the categories. I really don't. So we have Black Myth Wukong, we have Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, and Warhammer 40k, Space Marine 2. This is an interesting one. Best Combat. Wow. Why don't you talk for a little bit here?
So this one is a little tough.
You played all of these games.
Yes. I think
you played all of these. Yes. Yeah, so
I think Call of Duty is a shooter. I do not put this as an action game.
Exactly. That's insane.
I think Warhammer Space Marine 2, the executions are cool.
Yes.
I did not the more I think about that game, the more I'm like, I don't think I really had fun with that game. It was cool, but I wasn't like for instance, again, I know I just talked about Dragon Age. Dragon Age, I actively was excited to get into combat and play the combat and do all that stuff.
Right.
This, not so much. Helldivers is good. Again, I still think that's a shooter more than I could see it where it's because it's a third person. You have the action thing and you're doing stuff.
Right.
For me, it'd be between Black Myth Wukong and Stellar Blade, which is tough because I actually like the combat of Wukong better. I did not finish Wukong. I beat Stellar Blade, but I never really clicked with Stellar Blade. So I could go either way. I think if we're looking at the description, so best game in the action genre, which not whatever, focused primarily on combat. Personally, I would probably say Black Myth Wukong could pull this.
I think that will win as well.
Yeah,
I think that will win. I think that's a good pull. I will go with your discretion on this.
I'm torn because I think isn't this not to jump ahead, but I think this is also for Game of the Year.
Yeah,
so
it is
technically
it'll win this over Game of the Year for sure.
I think
that's how they think about it too. It's we want to give people accolades.
Tell you what,
it'll win this, but it won't win that.
I'm gonna vote for Stellar Blade if you're good with that.
I think that's a mistake.
For the Couch Company. And my rationale is I beat that.
I don't think that's. But the reason you beat it is because you promised Jeff you're going to beat it. If you didn't do that, you would not have beat that game.
But if it,
that's how that's 100% true.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you would have. Yeah,
I enjoyed it more than Wukong. The game
because
itself.
Of the combat.
Well, she climbs up ladders.
That's what I'm saying. That's a different kind of action.
I'm kidding. Although every time Chelsea came down, so this is right when Penny was born.
Yeah.
Every time she came down in the middle of the night,
sure, yeah,
I was less and less close on it. Yeah. She was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think you should go Wukong, but it's your decision.
That's fine. I feel bad just because, and this is where these ratings and different things do Stellar
you really think
Blade
Stellar Blade deserves to win it?
So here's the thing:
Wukong?
Stellar Blade has great is a total package.
Yeah.
I actually like Stellar Blade a lot.
Sure.
For what it is. Do I like Stellar Blade? I think I give it a 78 or something. I think that's it's a good game. Wukong is just I just got to a point where I'm like, man, I'm just getting my butt kicked. I'm not enjoying this. Right. It looks good and the combat's fun. But
yeah. Okay.
That's fine.
Well,
Wukong
we can switch it if you want. It's your decision.
Wukong,
I just think if you want my opinion, based on your descriptors,
I only want to vote for Stellar Blade because I don't think you see Stellar Blade again this awards. But
all right, best VR AR.
Yep.
Batman.
So actually,
all right, man, you talk.
Yeah, so the Arizona Sunshine remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellsinger VR, and Metro Awakening.
Okay.
Arizona Sunshine, don't know why you need a remake. Sure, maybe it's great. I don't know. Asgard's Wrath, this was like the game to have. That is like Asgard's Wrath 1 was like, this is VR. Like, this is the game. Mm-hmm. So if I was going to pick one, I would do Asgard's Wrath just because they have that kind of pedigree. But obviously, we never played any of these. So I would say we just abstain from this category completely.
Okay.
But Asgard's Wrath, I think, is the one to take a look at. And then Batman Arkham Shadow, they're just giving that away when you buy a Quest. So take that with however you want.
All right, best mobile game. AFK Journey, Balatro, Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero. It's got to be Balatro, right? Like, it's not even close. Am I crazy?
You're not crazy because I like Balatro more. So for the Couch Company,
how does Balatro play on mobile though? I haven't played.
It plays very well.
Okay.
It's a little small, so a little tough to read.
What do you think competes with it? AFK Journey?
Yeah,
that seems popular. Have you played that?
Yeah.
Is it very good?
Very good is a stretch, but I think it's respectful of your time. It's fun. It's not overly.
I think I remember you talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think it looks good. It's like an auto battler.
Sure.
Battler. Like, it's fine. Balatro is just like, you buy the thing and you play the game. And
it's like a game. Yeah.
The one that I would put on here is the Shogun Showdown is actually on mobile as well.
Oh,
so I would pick that one personally. Okay. But sure. Balatro is very good. I think the issue though is I bought Balatro.
Yeah.
And really haven't played it because I'm like, well, man, I unlocked everything on like Steam.
Right. So, right. You can't.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
The coolest thing with that game is the haptic feedback. So as the deck shuffles, you feel the vibrations and stuff. It's pretty good.
All right, best debut indie game. So we have Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, and The Plucky Squire. So again, we're going to see two categories that are almost identical. I know they're not, but because I think the next one is best independent studio or whatever.
Something,
game or how are you feeling about this? Do you think?
I think just from sheer amount of play, I think Balatro has to take this one for us.
I'm with you. For us, yeah. I could see Animal Well winning, though. I know that did very well.
Yeah, Animal Well is kind of that people really like that. If it clicked with you, you really like it. Yeah. That Metroidvania just is... I was beating my head against, and then the problem is whenever you leave and when you come back, it just doesn't tell you anything.
Right.
So it's just like you have to stick with it. So
this is best independent game, right? So Animal Well, Balatro, Lorelei.
Yep.
And the Laser Eyes, Neva, whatever. UFO 50. Actually, there's a couple ones on here that could win.
Every single one of these could win.
Yeah,
like this is actually very exciting.
Yeah. So what are you thinking here? What's your thoughts?
Neva's very good. I don't think it does too much more than Grist though. UFO 50 is on my list to play. I've not played it yet.
I heard really great things about it. Yeah.
I think from what we've played, I would have to go Balatro again here, but UFO 50 is the one that I'm looking at.
Interesting.
Beforehand.
I could see any of these winning, honestly. This might be the most closely contested category.
Lorelei is super good. The only thing that's stopping me is...
these are all orange on OpenCritic.
Yeah, all of them. This is probably
this might be the most
category.
stacked category, yeah.
Lorelei, the only reason why I kind of hesitate on that one is it's a very, like, you got to think through some stuff and whatnot. And usually when I'm playing video games at, like, between 9 and 11 at night, that's not what I'm looking for.
Right.
So I'm probably just going to play some old school UFO 50, but...
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
So Balatro for this one for
I
us.
mean, it's very biased for the Couch Company, but I think it also deserves it. It's such a...
Neva is heartbreaking. But it's
really?
It's very
You're
good.
Raising a wolf and sure. All right.
We'll talk about that at our own thing. Yeah.
Sure. All right, best community support, Tyler's favorite category. So we have Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. I think I know where you're going with this.
I don't know if you do.
Oh, not No Man's Sky. Interesting.
No.
Oh, you are going No Man's Sky.
No, I'm not. I think, once again, they put out like 1,000 free things.
I thought that was like the benchmark.
I think Baldur's Gate is it. Yeah.
Wow.
So Helldivers 2, every news article I keep seeing on Helldivers 2 is how they're pissing off the community. So
that's the craziest nomination. That's like last year when they did
Destiny of last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that's a joke, right?
Yeah. Community support does not include you fixing things that you piss the community off on.
Right. Yeah.
Or in this case, I guess it does. But
right.
I'm not saying they're not doing good stuff too. So like, this isn't a dig on Helldivers. Sure. It's just Baldur's Gate. Every news article is like, oh, as Larian does, hey, we added all new romance things for this. Oh, we polished this. We added this stuff. Here's this.
Yeah. Crazy. Crazy.
My thing for this would be Baldur's Gate.
Yep.
But I think it's worth mentioning. No Man's Sky is in this category like every year.
I know. And you always hype them up too.
Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, and Larian just does it too, it's all free.
Yep.
Helldivers, they're doing stuff, but it's still like, you got your season pass you can buy. There's still monetization stuff. But Baldur's Gate and No Man's Sky, no. Look, No Man's Sky, I'll see you next year. You're fine. You're good.
Someday.
Baldur's Gate. Well, No Man's Sky's coming out with their new game. So like the fact that they're still pumping that stuff out while they're making a second game is crazy.
Right.
But no, I think Baldur's Gate, especially with all the new stuff that they just kind of put out, I would go with them.
You won't see an argument from me.
All right. We're going to hit that. Baldur's Gate. Good luck. Moving on.
Yep. Next category is going to be best ongoing. Again, kind of similar categories, but not exactly.
Yeah.
Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2, which is insane because it just came out this year.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that should be on the list, right? Is that crazy or am I crazy?
Yeah, so awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience.
But it came out this year. You can't have this. This has to be all games that like haven't come out this year. To me, that's the whole point of this category. Bring in games that we can still celebrate even a couple years after they launch. Helldivers 2 is in other categories in this Game Awards. It's ridiculous.
That's fair. I don't know. I like one kind of notable miss here is Power World. I don't think the Game Awards wants to touch with a 10-foot pole. Yeah, there's too many lawsuits there. But
Nintendo's not letting that happen.
But I think Power World deserves like a thing and stuff too. But
I'd put Power World over Helldivers 2. I just not that Helldivers 2 is bad. It's just like I don't think it should count yet.
To be fair, they keep cranking out a lot of content every year.
Sure, but like it came out this year. Like, give it a year.
Yeah.
Best ongoing. It came out months ago.
Buddy, I'm with you, but we're living in a lawless time
I know.
with these
gets
awards.
Me perturbed.
For me, it'd be Diablo. I don't think. I think they've done a lot of quality of life stuff between launch and now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that gets blended with their expansion, where it's like, oh, here's a new expansion. It's all new everything.
Right.
But like 65% of it is all like, no, this was in the last season that you could have done, you know. So I think they got a lot of leeway there, but
sure,
I would do Diablo personally.
I believe you on that. I like that.
Destiny 2, I think the last expansion they did got
very good ratings.
Decent,
yeah. Destiny 2 is always a coin flip.
Yeah.
All right, Games for Impact. I don't know if I know any of these.
There's a weird like 6 here.
Yeah. Closer, The Distance, Indica, Neva.
Yeah, you got it.
Life is Strange, Double Exposure, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, and Tales of Kenzera. Zao.
Yep. This is the one that was like...
Yeah, I remember that. It was very mid.
It's for my father, which is like heartfult and awesome, and then they had to come out against Prince of Persia. It's like, that's just bad
unlucky,
timing, man.
Unlucky. You played the most out of these. Did you play Hellblade 2?
I started it, and my cousin is very much like it's a gorgeous game. But the sound and everything and the sound design, that shtick is like that was really cool in the first game. Second game, it's
we've seen this
you kind of done the thing,
sure.
So I did not get far in that. I did like the first 2 missions or something. It's not even missions, but like the first 2 sequences.
So what do you got here?
I mean, Neva's the only one. I.
Do you think it deserves it, or should we abstain?
I don't know what impact it's going for.
It's thought provoking and with a pro social meaning or message.
Yeah, I don't I don't get that message. Like, unless it's like, oh, pollution's bad. I don't know. Like, you're fighting like sludge monsters.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe I'm just like this simple-minded. Like,
we can abstain. I don't know. I mean,
I would abstain because I think
sure.
I don't think Neva is really the one to choose here.
I bet it wins though, because it's like we don't know what else to give it. We want to recognize it.
I would say it's probably going to be like Life is Strange or Indica.
Interesting. I didn't think Life is Strange did very well though, did it?
Probably not. But this isn't about like the quality of like
fair
the
enough.
Open critic score. It's about like the impact.
I think it always boils down to that though.
Well, Hellblade 2 didn't do well either.
It did. It was mid. It was middle of the road.
Yeah. Anyway,
which a lot of these other games
we'll abstain from that.
All right, innovation and accessibility.
Oh, hey, Dragon Age.
Black Ops 6. There it is.
Sweet.
Diablo 4, Dragon Age, Prince of Persia, and Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I never know what to vote for this. You know, it's like, I don't use a lot of the accessibility options. I don't use any of the accessibility options, so I don't really,
Yeah, neither do I.
I'm not well versed in that. So maybe it's best to abstain.
Yeah, I mean, I actually use some in Diablo, but that's more of just giving my old eyes an edge where I'm losing my character, so you can literally like change the outline of enemies and different stuff.
Yeah,
we'll abstain from it, but that's the only one that I played that like I could see it.
Yeah. Okay, we got best performance.
Yep.
We have Brianna White, Hannah Tell.
Yep.
Humberly Gonzalez, Luke Roberts, and Melina. How do you pronounce her last name?
Jurgens.
Jorgens.
Yeah, Jurgens.
I don't know.
Apologies.
I think you know where I'm going to go with this, but
who is Brianna White?
She's Aerith.
Oh, okay, sure.
And especially, so I would go with her. I think she's a fantastic Aerith, but what do you think?
I would go with Humberly Gonzalez.
Okay,
personally,
she's the main character in Star Wars Outlaws. Okay,
yeah. You know what? Let me double check. I'm assuming.
Okay, then you don't get this vote. I was going to give it to you, but now you can't.
What are you talking about?
If you don't know which character she is right off the bat, your vote doesn't have any weight.
I would assume. Who's the voice actor for Barrett?
I don't know his name.
Okay, but if he
was on the screen, I would know. If it was him nominated,
John,
I would be able to tell you what character
what
was.
I'm saying is Star Wars Galaxies has more than one female character in it. I got to make sure that it's the main character. One would assume.
Are you out of your mind?
What?
Final Fantasy doesn't have more than one female character?
Yes, but you just know who she is because you
It could be Tifa. It could be Yuffie.
Okay, but
what are you talking about?
What I'm saying is, I don't understand why if I have to look it up, what's the issue?
Because it's like if she was that good, you would know which character it was.
I think freaking actually the entire cast of Dragon Age is good, but I'm not looking up.
I know you loved it. It's your favorite game of all time. I get it, dude. But it's like,
all right, hold on.
You still haven't found it?
Look, she's in a lot of movies. She does a lot of things.
There
Unlike your so and so. Yeah, see, she might not actually be. Yeah, she is.
Exactly. It has to be the main character.
Yeah, she's very good.
I believe you.
Yeah,
not as good as.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the name Humberly. No shade on the name. I just I'm not gonna know that. Whatever.
Man, you're getting worked up.
All right, Brianna White. Good job, Aerith. Whatever.
Just call her Bareth.
Aerith. Good job, Aerith.
All right. Interesting.
Good job, Aerith.
Yeah, I got you. All right, let's go next. Before you have a conniption here, man.
I'm going to have a conniption.
Best audio design. Why are you so passionate about that one?
I don't know. I don't even care.
You were refusing to give it to her.
No, I'll give it to her. I just one is a supporting character and the other one throws the entire game on her shoulders. It's fine. We're on best audio design now, though.
Astro Bot, Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy 7, Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. I think it has to go to Astro Bot. Usually this is the Call of Duty category, but I really think Astro Bot takes this. Although I haven't played Hellblade 2, and that's its whole thing. Probably Silent Hill 2 is very good as well. So this might be biased, but as we talked about in the review, I think the things that Astro Bot does specifically with the sound, should be commended.
Like Hellblade 2 is still good.
Right.
It's well done.
Right.
And Call of Duty's fine. I feel like Call of Duty.
I don't think it stood out this year, though.
No, it was when it redid everything in the Modern Warfare.
The new Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Was like definite lock.
Yeah, like this.
But I agree.
It sounds good. It's
well
good, done.
Yeah.
But Astro Bot not only has amazing music, it's the audio coming out of your controller.
Different category.
Game audio and sound design. It's just like everything goes together and works.
Yes. Speaking of which, best score in music. That's why I said that.
Yeah.
This is a tough one because they're all very good. So Astro Bot, Final Fantasy VII, Metaphor, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade. Was Stellar Blade's music good? Did you?
It was.
Enjoy
yes.
it? Like you put it up, like it deserves to be up here?
I'm happy it's up here.
Yeah.
I don't think it. Well, I didn't play Silent Hill, but I don't think it beats any of the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played Silent Hill as well, but which is an interesting take.
I did listen to some Stellar Blade soundtrack.
Okay.
So if that says anything, but I think all the tracks are good.
Yeah. Is there anyone you would vote for in particular?
For this, Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I will say the little I've played of Metaphor, really good soundtrack so far.
I mean, I look to you. This is your category. So.
I think Final Fantasy as of right now, but I will play through Metaphor more, and I was very impressed thus far with the music.
That's actually interesting, but okay.
Yeah, it was, dude, the opening theme is sick. It's very good.
Yeah.
Best art direction. So we have Astro Bot, Wukong, Elden Ring, Metaphor, and Neva.
I just wanted to see if you could get all of them. Good job.
Oh, yeah, sure. So let me read the description here for outstanding creative and or technical achievement, artistic design, and animation. I think Astro Bot, again, just crushes this category. That's one of the best pieces of the game.
It does not. I don't think it crushes it. And my thing is,
let me
Black Myth Wukong has some of the best graphics. The animation's obviously a big part of that because it's all
maybe
combat.
I'm disrespecting it a little bit too much.
I think it's very, very good. The hair is really good. I think it's awesome.
Yes.
I think Neva is also quite good.
Okay.
I think it's very stunning. Like Chelsea actually walked by and she was like, "Oh, this looks like a really pretty game." Like I thought she was sleeping at one point, and I look over and she's just like watching it's like this watercolor thing going on and stuff. But again, we saw it in Gris where it's like, okay, is it pushing it? So I'm fine giving it to Astro Bot. I think the animation, the artistic design, and everything is good.
Yep.
And I think they do a great job taking all of the different properties and converting it to Astro Bot stuff.
Like
so
a homogenous style.
I can get behind that.
Yes, maybe saying it dominates this category is a bit disrespectful.
I think that's what I mean. I think it's a little bit more.
I do think it deserves a win still. That hasn't changed.
I would like to see where Metaphor gets to, though, because people tend to like that for.
Yeah, I mean, it's very Persona style right now, which is great. But I'm too early to really comment on it too much.
Which is going to kind of.
Yeah, this is going to be tough too. So best narrative. So we have Final Fantasy VII, Like a Dragon, Metaphor, Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. This is tough. Yeah, I could see this going to Metaphor because I think a lot of people are saying that's the strength of it, one of the biggest strengths. Yeah. Okay. It's very interesting in how they do it too, which I can already start seeing. It's, but I'm not even close. Like a Dragon was great as well, although the story, again, as I said in my review, it was tough for me because I didn't have that history with the game. I think if I had that history with the game, it would have hit much more. Yeah. So I would give it to Final Fantasy. Again, biased pick, but I could see, Metaphor. I think that's really maybe Silent Hill 2 because again, I'm disregarding Silent Hill 2.
Final Fantasy is not the pick for you.
I think it is just based on what I've played and so far. But I could see something else maybe giving it a run for its money.
Look, you're the one that played all these, so
yeah.
I think I'm gonna start Metaphor on my week off.
Oh really?
That's gonna be like my Thanksgiving thing.
Previous.
I just want to go back and make sure we clicked on Astro Bot.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Best game direction. So this is runner-up, essentially.
Oh, look at it. This is a six
man. Astro Bot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, DLC, Final Fantasy VII, and Metaphor. Again, it says awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. What it really means is what didn't get game of the year.
Yeah. But
right, this is like second to last.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're taking it at face value, creative vision and innovation, I mean, that's a tough one actually. All right, you talk.
So I think between all of these, Astro Bot and Balatro would be.
Yeah, that's where I tend to.
It's tough.
Again, I think Metaphor might fit that, but I don't have enough.
But Metaphor is a derivative of Persona. You have Black Myth, which is derivative of friggin' Souls and the boss things with that, like even Lies of P. Elden Ring, obviously, DLC it's more so like Final Fantasy, like
it's a sequel.
A lot of this stuff is like innovation is the thing that's sticking with me.
Yes.
So if you wanted to go strictly innovation,
Balatro.
Then somehow Balatro sneaks that away because it's like, hey, this is a completely different take on this thing.
Right.
Which is super cool.
Yes. But there's also game direction and design where I think Astro Bot is on top.
Astro Bot is
the design of that game is.
Yeah.
Although Balatro is designed very well as well. Very unique style.
It is.
Sticks with you, but Astro Bot, there's just a charm to it.
I think Balatro, you hit a wall certain times. Like I think they, or at least I did. Maybe I'm just bad at the game, but like there are certain things where it's like, this isn't the run. Okay, go back. And like, granted, it's fun enough that I'm like, hey, I'll do another one. But Astro Bot, it's like it just always kind of lets you just go. Yeah.
So you thinking Astro Bot?
If it was me, my heart says Astro Bot.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you on that one. I just gave it a 97. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
that's a tough one.
I would do Astro Bot. I think Dragon Age should be on there too, but all right.
Well,
yeah.
Whoops.
Yep.
All right, game of the year.
Game of the year, same things.
Same exact games, which is just if that doesn't tell you it's a runner-up award, it's like
yeah.
What do you think? You start here.
So this is recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields.
Maybe we should run the games again, just in case you forgot. Astro Bot, Balatro.
Go ahead. Continue.
Astro Bot, Balatro, Wukong, Elden Ring, Final Fantasy VII, and Metaphor.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
The thing that kills me is like Tyler, the gamer.
Yes.
Creative vision, innovation, and game direction.
Yes.
Makes the game for me. Like that is my
main
thing.
That is you, right.
So to then have a game, it's like, oh, this is the best across all creative and technical fields.
Yep.
What does that even mean? Because
everything.
Yeah, okay, but then that means story.
Just,
like Astro Bot, no story. Balatro, no story. So like automatically, like are those like just disqualified because like technically Astro Bot has a story, but it ain't no Final Fantasy VII or Metaphor
or Elden Ring.
Right. So it's just like that's where I struggle with, where it's like, no, game direction. Game direction should just be everything. Like this is the direction of your game that you did. Like here you go.
Right.
I pick Astro Bot. I think Astro Bot is the standout thing that says, oh my goodness, they out Nintendo. Like I don't know how many times I read that.
Right.
That's my thing.
I think I have to agree with you. I mean, I gave it a point higher than Final Fantasy because I do think it's a complete package.
But if you wanted to do Final Fantasy, I could completely get behind that.
I am not going to be upset or think it's wrong if they pick Final Fantasy. I will tell you that. But if I had to vote and I was trying to be objective about it, I think the best game this year is Astro Bot. Unless Metaphor is a like incredible experience, which it very well might be. But
yeah,
again, it's tough because it's in that as much as everyone is saying, it separates itself from that. It's hard to not, Astro Bot's unique, even though it's like built on the whatever PlayStation Playground or whatever. I just think if I'm being honest with myself, it's the best, most complete experience. Like Final Fantasy has some issues, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's the engine that they're with, right? You get those glitches, the shading issues, things like that. Whether it's with its story, there's definitely some things that people will disagree with or are very divisive in the storytelling because it's game 2 of 3. It's trying to be a piece of a larger game, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that is tough because it's not your typical arc that you would expect in a game. Even though the narrative is very good, I just think there's some things there. So,
how's the voice work on Metaphor?
So far good.
Okay,
so far good.
Wukong, I hate it.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, I like the again, not far in Metaphor, maybe like an hour in, if not a little less. But I think Astro Bot. I would be happy with Astro Bot. I'd be happy with Final Fantasy. I'd be happy with Veilguard. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's close enough that I wouldn't argue.
Yeah.
That's such a unique experience, such it just took everything by storm to the point where there are people on YouTube that have Balatro channels.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like it created a platform for people.
Yeah.
That's when you have made a incredible game. That's one metric of that, right? Where it's like there's a guy on YouTube named Balatro University, and he has he's not a huge channel, but he has people watching him every day.
Yeah.
And it's like there's enough there that's incredible to me.
If I had to rank these in terms of what I think would most likely be it, I think Astro Bot wins. So I would go Astro Bot.
Okay.
Then I would go probably go Astro Bot, Metaphor.
Ooh.
Wukong. Elden Ring.
Wow.
Final Fantasy Balatro would be what I think.
I have a different
that would be.
take. I think it's Astro Bot, Final Fantasy 2. Not Final Fantasy 2, but Final Fantasy in the second place spot. Balatro, Metaphor, Elden Ring, Wukong.
I think
Elden Ring last. I don't think
Fantasy.
Elden Ring could possibly win because they know how much shit they would get if Elden Ring won.
I don't think Elden Ring wins, but what I'm saying is in terms of like
just best game
popularity and people that want it and different things like that. I think Final Fantasy and Balatro are bottom of the barrel. Metaphor and Final Fantasy might swap, but I think it's awesome that Balatro is even in the conversation.
Yes.
Like good on him.
Yes.
I think you're going to see a DLC win before an indie game win, unfortunately.
Yeah. If any game should have won, man, it should have been Hades. That was the biggest snub.
I
can remember.
It was Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like...
Well, hey, look, Hades 2 wasn't even nominated, so maybe there's like they were waiting for it to come out. And then
that was a surprise because when you were saying early access, because you gave me that spiel before I looked at the nominations, I thought Hades 2 was going to be in the running for everything.
Let me go to the...
Should we... Oh, we already said Astro Bot.
Do you want to ask?
Yes. I think we should. Let's lock that in before we wander off. Yeah.
Okay.
But again, I think multiple. I would be happy with a lot of those winning.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good selection. A couple I disagree with, but I think like Wukong, for example, like you mentioned, on there because of how popular it is, not necessarily should be on there.
Well, look, if we're being objective. Might be one of the best looking games. Like it's very realistic. The lighting is really, really good.
Yeah.
Like animation's awesome. But just a couple quick notes. So Friday, November 22nd at 9 p.m. P2 needs to. That's when the games need to be released. That's the cutoff.
So Indiana Jones not
a thing.
It'll be on next year.
Yep.
Yes.
Any game. So like our early access games eligible for nomination. And it's yes. Anything for public consumption by the deadline is eligible.
I didn't realize you were reading from their words when you said that.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what they said. That's crazy to me. Wow.
Oh, when I said public consumption?
Yeah, you said anything public consumption. I was like, oh, that's very specific. And it's like, that's because it's what they said.
That's literally, they just opened the floodgates.
Wow.
So yeah, that's...
I don't agree with that, but it is what it is.
But that's the official ones. We're going to probably take a little bit more of a lighthearted celebration approach to it. We'll talk to Jeff.
We talked about it, and I think I like our approach where we celebrate uniqueness in games and things that stuck out to us. And I think we kind of take a reverse engineering approach to it where we tailor the award to the game or to the experience. But we'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it. I think it's going to be good. I'm excited.
Me too. I actually, I was a little worried at the beginning where I was like, man, nothing's like really grabbing me. And then like towards the end, like suddenly I was just getting like like a lot of things were hitting.
Yeah.
So
well, it's gonna be all Dragon Age.
Dragon Age is the most
all your awards
recent.
are gonna be Dragon Age.
Look, a lot of things I want to talk about, like best moments and best characters and stuff.
I'm excited for it.
Dragon Age is going to be up there.
Very excited for it. Yeah. Okay. That's all we got. A little lengthy today, but we're a video game podcast. We had video games to talk about.
Yeah, it's big.
It's our big time of year. So if you made it this far, we appreciate you. Check us out, couchcompany.games. Our reviews are going up there. Tyler also has his review of Dragon Age, and our scores are going up, and you can find everything there. Our scores, our top fives, our episodes, whatever you want. It's going to be on couchcompany.games. And stay tuned for our Game of the Year show, which I'm very excited for. Always have a lot of fun with that. We're going to have What Killed Jeff.
We're taking a week off, I think.
Yeah, and for Thanksgiving.
So
enjoy Turkey Day out there as well. Yep. So we're going to be here, not same time, but same place. We'll see you on the couch next time. Peace.